As one of the biggest supporters of President Donald J. Trump.
I'm big on Facebook too, and I'm the asshole saying you can't come in because guess what? You're fuck with Scott, fuck with us all.
What's up, everybody? Sorry for delay. All right, really sorry. Massive thunderstorms came rolling through here at about 4 p.m. and my power just kept going off and on, off and on, off and on, and so I wanted to wait until they were completely gone because I didn't want to, it's weird. I can't run the generator when it's like that, when it's off on, off on. It's got to be like out, and I like to run the generator, and that's fine. But it's anyway, so it's over. Should be fine now. Looks like it's cleared up. Power's been steady. So here we go. Thanks, everybody, for waiting around, sticking around, and checking out the show. Greatly appreciated. Taking on Scott Pressler is not a wise idea. You're correct. It's not a wise idea to take on Scott Pressler. How's everything sound? Everything sound good tonight? Everything, volumes, levels good? What the F? Great to see you. Good to see you too, Doc. Miss Hacker, awesome to have you here. Same with you, Sylvia. CF Rob, what's up? Great to have you. Karen, good to see you. None of your business. What the F? American Dreamer, what's going on? Great to see you. Wow, look at that. Is that you? It's Scott Pressler? Awesome. Hey, Dan, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, thunderstorms will not stop, Jim. Well, you had to get into computer work because you broke your leg at retail nursery, mountain retail, some kind of retail nursery job. You missed him all day. Okay. Dumb advertisements. The advertisements start. I had them shut off. They shouldn't have started. They're off. I did them like right away. That's not good. They should be off. Double check. Yeah, they're off. Anyway, who else is here? Jay Schwartz is here. What's up? Good to see you. Gundam Zig, great to see you. Thanks for dropping those links. Where is Jim? I need him to tell me. Well, I'm here. The Narrow Ways here too. What's up? Sherry Gatlin, how you doing? Great to see you. Jay Marco's here too. Awesome. Brian Ogden was here. Oh, Brian Ogden came through with a $5 super chat. We are family. Thank you, Brian. So that means with that, folks, we are now just $95 away from ending a first additional hour and $45 away from Belavision. That's right. I didn't even get to say the whole thing and put the goal in yet. But yeah, so the goal is right now $95. But the way it works is for every $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, becoming a member or gifting memberships on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and Twitch, along with Locals Coins and Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips. We add it all up. And when we hit 100, we add another hour to the show. And then for each additional 100, we add another hour to the show. the show could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, as long as you want it to be. Totally up to you guys. And then when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision, which is getting a drink of water right now. Unless somebody is so generous that they give $20 or greater, and that could be like a Cash App, a PayPal, a super tip, super chat, Rumble rant, or it could be gifting 5 memberships on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, or Twitch, or any of those things, and then we would activate Bellavision for the evening. So thank you, Brian. Thank you to everybody. Yes, thank you, Brian Ogden. Oh, Steve's here. What's up? Spinal cord stimulator is in. Seems to be helping. Well, that's good. It should just it's not gonna like I've had one for over 14 years. If I move in a weird way, Steve, it'll like I'll feel the tingly stuff, but you shouldn't really feel the tingling. It shouldn't be like tingling. It shouldn't be the same as a TENS unit, because it's not going through any muscles. So if you're feeling like the tingle stuff, then it might be a little too high. That's what my guy told me anyway. So my doctor, that if you feel the tingling and not just the pain relief, it might be a little too high. But like if I bend or do a certain way when I move, I'll feel it, and that's just because I'm moving a certain way and like putting pressure somewhere. So it's moving. They work for some people great. They work for other people not at all. So it's very dependent upon the person and the actual injury and how they place them and everything else. So let me do this first. Let me go over here to the YouTubes and set up the goal for the evening for $25 super chats for 2 hours. This and this, and this. All right. Boom. Set that up. All right. Start the goal. And away we go. And if you've never been here before, also, or even if you've been here many times, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. And, if you like the content and you want to see more of it, there's a little bell that you can, when you click on the subscribe section stuff, there's like a bell thing. If you select that and put, all notifications, supposedly, allegedly, YouTube will notify you. I don't know if it works or not, but, could be worse. Just saying. Oh, and a side note, something that you guys might know. Do you remember the other night when we watched I think it was 2 nights ago, we watched the opening ceremonies for the Great American Fair or whatever it is for the America 250 celebration, and we listened to the Battle Hymn of the Republic played by the the United States Army, Marine Corps, Air Force band and choir, the military band perform it. Some foreign country tried to claim that as copyright that song, saying they were copywriting the Battle Hymn of Republic. I had to challenge it and say this is disputed, because first of all, it's the Battle Hymn of the Republic. How could some foreign country own it? That was my first thought. But then I looked into it, and it turns out that the Battle Hymn of Republic was published in like 1864, 5, 6, something like that. Like, many, many, many years ago, over 150, 160 years ago. And it's in the public domain. So I don't understand how they were able to actually pull this off. So I'm waiting to hear back from YouTube. But this is ridiculous how they're going to try to claim it. Okay. Yeah, that's what as Jim said, if you feel it tingling, you should reduce it by a little. Yeah, that's what that's what my my orthopedic surgeon and my neurologist told me, that it's not the same as a TENS unit where you feel the tingling because it's going through your muscles and everything. It's directly on your spinal cord. So you shouldn't really feel the tingling per se. I mean, I have tingling all the time in my feet. That's just from neuropathy. Bella is settling in. Yes, she is. Awesome. So let's get into the first news story of the evening. What do we say? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What do you know? What do you say? So Trump says Iran had a foolish violation of the ceasefire by launching drones at cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Tingling, more like burning. Your neck does. Well, the burning thing, that's pretty bad. you played it in junior high school. It's an American patriotic anthem. Yeah. So how could some, foreign, it said like Latin American bueno music and somewhere it was like a whole bunch of people tried to claim it. Sony Latin America. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. They're trying to claim that song. Nuts. So President Trump accused Iran of a foolish violation of the ceasefire. The attack comes amid a disagreement over Iran charging a transit fee or tolls in the Strait. Mm-hmm. It's very old. It's in the public domain. There's no way, anything published before, like, at this point, I think anything published before like 1931 or something like that is in the public domain. So I don't even understand how they're trying to claim it. They sung it during the Civil War. It's nuts. Iran keeps droning on. Oh, they do. Oh, look at that cute kitty cat. Got that little thing. So very dumb. So the attack comes amid disagreements over the fees and stuff. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard struck a Singapore flag commercial vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. The cargo vessel was struck by an unknown projectile. According to the UK Maritime Operations, U.S. officials confirmed the vessel was hit by an Iranian drone. Oh, that person's got some leg issues there. That's a lot of fluid in them legs. They might want to get their heart checked. U.S. approved route for ships to travel through the strait involves hugging the Omani coastline, while Iran has called for ships to travel along a northern route, closer to Iran, so they want people to travel close to Iran so they can send their boats out to shake them down for money and hijack them and stuff like that. That's what they want. The Persian Gulf Strait Authority, an agency set up by Iran to manage transit, said in a statement after the attack that any passage through routes outside of the framework designated by them will not be covered by safe passage guarantees. Well, first of all, there's a difference between being covered by safe passage guarantees, where it's like, yeah, we're going to make sure we don't put any mines and we're going to make sure we don't do this other stuff, until you're shooting rockets and missiles and drones at them. That's a difference. That's you're attacking them. It added that the consequences arising from passage through unauthorized routes shall be the responsibility of the owner, operator, and vessel commander. It's crazy. Good evening, my fellow non-commies. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. So the UN has since paused plans to evacuate stranded ships through the strait. Arsenio Dominguez, citing the attack, said that seafarers' safety remains paramount to everyone. And to ensure a coordinated approach and navigational safety, the IMO evacuation plan will be paused until further clarity. Hey, Space Baby, what's up? Greetings, fellow anti-communists. Yes, what's up? Eastwind Farms, awesome to see you. Well, we all said that Iran would lie about the ceasefire. Yes, we did.
Never zero your optic again.
Never zero your optic.
What? Yeah. Because
that attack on that Singapore flag ship at the Strait of Hormuz, obviously a major test of this 60-day deal between the U.S. and Iran. Talks are said to still be progressing, but this certainly derails those efforts to restore ship traffic to what we saw before this war even started. Now, some vessels had recently been evacuated through the United Nations International Maritime Organization's alternative route, but shortly after that ship was attacked by an Iranian drone, the group just announced it is now pausing evacuation of vessels. Iran's Navy released a statement saying this route is unacceptable and extremely dangerous. We warn all vessels to strictly refrain from any movement outside the designated routes. General Jack Keane today on Fox News responding to the situation this way.
We're going to have to arm wrestle this out, make certain that they step back. This is going to get resolved. Either it'll get resolved and the Iranians will stand down and stop what they're doing, or we will force them to stand down.
Yeah.
President Trump seemingly addressing the growing tensions last night while speaking to some farmers at the White House. He says the strait remains open and emphasized Iran could become a new market for American farmers, saying they'll use unfrozen Iranian assets to buy U.S. crops. Trump insists Tehran wants to make a long-term deal with the U.S. badly.
We're negotiating from a position of pure strength. They know that. And the strait's already open, and we're setting records of the strait. But we had to do that. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
They can't have one. Just Can't do it.
During his latest stop in the Persian Gulf, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that they're not interested in Iranian press conferences or rhetoric. They are interested in seeing ships move through the Strait of Hormuz. He says if that is happening, that is a good thing. If it is not, it is a violation of the agreement and of the ceasefire. And he says they're going to have a problem if that happens.
Going to have a big problem. Going to have a big, big, big problem.
Not a
big problem is what they're going to have. So one of the
How
drones.
old were you when you found out that this blue liquid makes fat come?
What the hell is going on? Why I paused it and it just starts playing? You got a lot of balls. One of the drones solidly hit the upper deck of a large and very expensive cargo carrying ship. Damage was done, but the ship was able to proceed on its way. Yes, they can't have nukes because they are cray-cray. Cray-cray. Hey, Brenda, thanks for stopping by. Great to see you. Hello. I just think the RGC goes their own way. Well, then they're going to have to go their own way. Maybe they should. Trump should arrange. Trump, Hegseth, and our military should arrange a meeting with Allah for all of them. The Islamic Republic of Iran shot at least 4 one-way attack drones at ships traversing the Strait of Hormuz. One of the drones solidly hit the upper deck of a large and very expensive cargo ship. Damage was done, but the ship was able to proceed. We knocked down 3 other drones. Obviously, it's a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement. It's a developing story. We're going to keep an eye on it. And we will see what... now, the New York Post says that, Trump says Iran violated the ceasefire with foolish drone attack. Trump says Iran violated ceasefire. You'll find out if there will be consequences. So Trump accused Iran of violating ceasefire. He said one of those drones struck a cargo ship off the coast of Amman. And then just in, U.S. strikes Iran in response to attack on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. So now this is the thing that I would like. It should be overwhelming. Like if we're gonna hit them back. See my first link. I know, I sees it. Thank you so much. That's a rhyme. Yeah, it's on time. It's also a Fleetwood Mac song. You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. Hey, Ahmad's Ank, great to see you. What's this on YouTube? Hello, everyone. The regime in Iran is fractured. There is no leader that is in control of all the factions. I think that is the problem. But then the people who are launching these things are the ones that need to be targeted. Like, why do they have any ability to launch anything? I don't know. I mean, I would just be like, oh, okay, here's this. Bomb it, bomb it, bomb. Bomb, 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 bomb Iran. Bomb, 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 bomb Iran. Bomb Iran. Turn it all to sand. That's the plan. Bomb Iran. I don't know. Rockin' and a rollin', you kill the Ayatollah. Bomb Iran, bomb Iran, bomb, bomb Iran. Oh, and Brian with another 5. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means now we are just 90 away from our first additional hour of the show and just 40 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much, Brian. I wish Jim was a singer. I wish I was too, but I stink. I'm not good. U.S. military on Friday struck Iran in response to an attack on commercial vessels. This is the thing that I was talking about. Okay, I don't want this to get into this like, oh, they did this, so we'll do this little thing, and we're going to hit them back just a little, proportionate strikes. No. You have to be like, oh, it has to be like, the Chicago way. Like, you punch one of ours, we put one of yours in the hospital. You put one of ours in the hospital, we put one of yours in the morgue. That's the Chicago way. And that's the way we should be treating Iran. Turn Iran into glass. That's not a bad idea. It'd be nice and colorful glass, like stained glass. Keep singing, all good. I don't know. I don't know. Millie Vanilli got nothing on you, Jim. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on. Go play. Back in the 70s, our members of IBW Local 595 printed up a shirt with a map of Iran showing 3 nuclear bombs on it. Well, that's cool. That's nice. Gundam says resolution to censor John Thune was approved by the resolution committee of the SDRP. It still needs to be voted on by South Dakota Republican Party itself. That would be great. Hey, what's up, Bumpkin? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you hit follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's not if you can sing, but whether you feel like it, that's important. Okay. So on Thursday, Iranian drones attacked a Singapore flag cargo ship exiting the Strait of Hormuz amid a ceasefire agreement. The union wouldn't sanction it. Well, unions are like that. Earlier Friday, Trump said Iran's attack was a foolish violation of a ceasefire agreement. The Islamic Republic of Iran shot 4 one-way drones at ships. Obviously, it's a foolish violation. Later Friday, U.S. military conducted a strike against Iranian missile and drone storage locations. Why do they have any storage locations left? They shouldn't have any missile storage locations left. They should have all been destroyed. What are we doing? Why did they have any storage locations left? If we know where they are, they should have all been destroyed. I'm sorry. They should have all been destroyed. I heard for over a month that we were bombing them in a more massive bombing campaign than ever in history, in the most massive bombing campaign. Why did they have anything left? So I just tell me why. What were we hitting in these? If we were actually doing this bombing in the way that they said, there shouldn't be any missiles left. There shouldn't be any drone capacity left. They should have been all destroyed. I don't know. Am I foolish? Maybe. I think the bombs are in tunnels like in Gaza. Well, it's possible. It's possible. Sounds a bit Carmelo Anthony to me, Jim. I'm confused. What do you mean? Jim, I think all the girls here are only here to see you and Bella. You're talking to them, which most men don't do with their wives. Oh. I talk to everybody. I don't know what's hidden. Oh, they're hidden. I don't know. I really would like this explained. Seriously, Pat, what do you mean by sounds a bit Carmelo Anthony to me, Jim? You mean me saying why is there anything left? Why hasn't all been destroyed? Is that what you're talking about? What I don't know. Man. I might have to do a call-in show just so I can understand what people are trying to tell me. Per CENTCOM, chairman of the National Security Committee in the Iranian Parliament, Ibrahim Azizi, to Trump, the reality in the Persian Gulf has changed. The Strait of Hormuz is controlled by Iran. If you don't learn the rules, Iran's armed forces will teach them to you. Oh, well, then why are we not just bombing them like nonstop? Like nonstop. Need a little more surveillance and more e-hack-a-mole action. That's what I would say. Definitely. Trump told Iran it would destroy the world's economy if he hadn't did a ceasefire. So now it seems that's going to be the dying dog's goal. The girls here will donate more if you take your shirt off. No, sorry. I'm not. The Chicago way. Oh, the Chicago way. Well, that's actually, it's from a movie. That's from that movie, The Untouchables. That's one of my favorite actors, Sean Connery, says that to, what's his name? Kevin Costner, when they're talking about, how to handle Capone and all that. Whack, thumbs, and eyesight fail me. The Chicago way. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm saying when you're dealing with, it's from a movie. Trump is a living dynamic equation. Well, I hope so. Imagine Jim as Farron on Nick's show. No, you're not going to see my hamster. So, U.S. aircraft struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites. I thought we already destroyed other coastal radar sites. How many times are we going to hear about their coastal radar sites being destroyed? I mean, seriously, we've heard this numerous times. Did they rebuild them? Did they get more? How do they have coastal radar sites anymore? I don't understand this. They also claim we tried invading Siri Island and valiant patriots threw them back into the sea. Lol, hamster. Yeah, well, that's what we saw. Where was her hamster? Are the radar sites mobile? Some of them might be, but the fixed ones, I mean, the mobile ones are whatever. So. The unwarranted aggression against commercial shipping by Iranian forces clearly violated the ceasefire. Furthermore, Iran's dangerous behavior undermined freedom of navigation as commerce increasingly flows through the vital international trade corridor. CENTCOM forces continue to provide safe passage, coordination, and support to commercial vessels transiting the strait. The U.S. military remains present and vigilant to ensure all aspects of the agreement with Iran are adhered to. I mean, if they're shooting missiles at and drones at ships, they're not agreeing to anything. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here? That's why the 60-day ceasefire was for rearming and rebuilding. By who? By us or by Iran? Zadarma.com will give you a redirect phone number that's exclusively yours for $3 a month, so you can do call-ins and not give out your personal number. I thought, well, don't most people use like a Google Voice number for that? No. I thought that Google Voice did that too. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'll check that out. I will definitely check that out. Just checking. Nope. Okay. Iran, but probably us too. I think people don't realize just how big Iran is. Lots of places to hide things. Yeah. No, I know it's a big place, but I mean the storage facilities to put it like. We should already know where all these storage facilities are because they have to be kind of hardened. They have to be, like we should know where everything is. To target stuff. I mean, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Jennifer?
Will, I just spoke to a senior U.S. defense official, and those airstrikes are ongoing as we speak. So this is not over. The response by the U.S. military to that strike by the IRGC using a one-way attack drone targeting that Singapore flagship overnight. But there are still more targets that CENTCOM is going after as we speak. We had heard about those original 3 airstrikes in Sirik, Iran. Those were from local reports on the ground. And we learned from the CENTCOM statement that it was drone storage sites, missile storage sites, as well as air radar defense systems. But right now, we can say that they're striking more targets, and it's clear that they're trying to send a very strong message to the Iranians to basically cut it out.
I know you're learning this in real time, Jennifer, but any sense of the extent of the attacks? You start with 3. How wide, how broad are these responsive attacks from the United States?
Well, it's not clear, but it's clear this is not a symbolic strike. This is taking out some of those drone sites and missile sites that have been really tormenting the ships in the Strait of Hormuz as the Iranians still try to play games with potentially charging tolls in that area, which would be against the MOU. So right now, the fact that the strikes are still continuing, and CENTCOM did put out that statement, is surprising to me because usually we get a statement when these kind of strikes are finished. But I think obviously they want the Iranians to know that it's the U.S. military. They want the world to know that they are responding, and it's unacceptable to stop these ships going through the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, that's interesting. So. It's very interesting. And on to some other news. John Bolton pleads guilty. Until we turn Iran into a parking lot, we won't get Iraq to take us seriously. Okay. Lots of caves and mountains. These folks are resourceful, not so much architects. Hey, anytime. I thought your name was Brian. He. What that means, I don't know. Nice bike, Boohoo. Hey, Boohoo got a bike? Oh yeah, I see it. Never mind. I don't talk about. Oh, I get it now. Now I understand it. Kevin says, "Man, if I had Jim's phone number, I'd be calling him every day." Hey, thanks for being here, Finch. No problem. Kelly J, awesome to see you too. A.A. Argvarts. Okay. The flyovers were inspiring. Oops, Iran. Okay, yeah. Until we turn Iran into a parking lot, Iran won't take us seriously. Yes, bomb Iran, turn it into a parking lot. Trying to type on my iPad should be simple. It should be, but it's not. It's not. Sorry you're late. We're riding. No problem. Retreat into holes at the first sign of danger. Well, that's what they do. That's what they do. So John Bolton, remember John Bolton, the walrus, Mr. Mustache Man, Mr. He's smartest man. He thinks he's the smartest man in the room, smarter than everyone else. He pleads guilty to mishandling classified defense secrets. So does that satisfy you, Jim? What do you mean? What's going on and why they're not? What do you mean satisfy me about what? About what's happening or? The strikes? Now, I want the strikes to be like if they shot a drone at a ship, we should bomb 10 locations, I think. If they shot 4 drones, then we should bomb 40 locations. I don't know, but that's just me. That's my opinion. I want to see overwhelming. The only way they have to think it's untenable for them to attack anything to get them to stop. They go, well, if we do one thing, they're going to just basically wipe us out. So we have to stop. If they think they could play games and like, oh, well, they're just going to bomb a couple things over here and it's not going to be a problem. So we can keep doing this, keep causing issues and just keep being mucking around. I personally think, yeah, we already hit back from the ship. No, I know. I talked about it, but they said it's still ongoing, the attacks. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I don't know. I guess I'm just saying, like, I've heard repeatedly that we destroyed the radar installations along the coast. I've heard repeatedly that we bombed all this stuff, that, that all their missile launchers were destroyed. I don't know. Trump is trying to spare civilians, but they need to be bombed until there's a white flag of surrender. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Hey, Casper, great to see you. So they have to think it's the year 1600 again. Well, I think that most of them would fit right along there. Oh, in Iran? No, I want to. They have to, Pat. They have to cry uncle. They have to say, stop, please, no more. If they're out here running around saying that they've defeated us and they're going to do this and that and they're going to charge tolls and we're going to do, then they clearly haven't surrendered. Time to make a new group to deal with, he told them. That sounds like to me. Bolton looks like my narcissistic sister's husband. He no different. We need evil Captain Kirk, a scanner in the quarters that made people disappear. He won't get 10 years. No, probably not, because he pled guilty. So when you plead out in federal courts, they really America First says they won't surrender. Somebody will eventually. President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, pleaded guilty on Friday to a felony count of unlawfully retaining national defense information. The plea was made in federal court in Greenbelt, Maryland, before U.S. District Judge Theodore D. Chwanga. Bolton, 77, had faced an 18-count indictment that had accused him of both transmitting and retaining highly sensitive classified material during and after his time in the Trump administration. We need some more Israeli pagers to gift them. Take out 2 or 3 at a time. They might begin to understand. It'd be nice. Perfect human spontaneous combustion. That would work. That would work. Oh, cool. 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 I like that. I like to see that. I like to see that. Yeah. I like to see that. So Bolton served as national security advisor. Indictment added that Bolton unlawfully retained classified national defense information. Documents reportedly included intelligence on foreign adversaries. Federal investigators later determined the compromised emails contained classified things because he had stuff on his Gmail account that got hacked. A federal grand jury returned the 18-count indictment in October. There's only one tier of justice for all Americans, said then Attorney General Pam Bondi. Anyone who abuses a position of power and jeopardizes our national security will be held accountable. It's good to know. Good to know that that's happening. You know, we don't want there should be no two-tier justice system. Everyone should be treated the same. That's why Hillary Clinton should have been prosecuted for that shit that happened on the server. The fact that Comey said, well, yeah, but nobody's going to do this because, that's just not we don't, because her name's Clinton and we don't charge Clintons. FYI, Bolton had been dealt with years ago and now not walks up on our planet E. Okay.
Breaking news, former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton just pleaded guilty in his classified documents case. Bolton was indicted last year on 18 counts related to his handling of sensitive government information. Now, prosecutors said he shared it with 2 relatives for possible use in a book he was writing.
As Mr. Bolton just admitted, he put our national security at grave risk in violation of the law. Our system of classified information is designed to protect sensitive information that would jeopardize national security if mishandled. And the national defense information at issue in this case was classified at the highest classification level.
CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us live right now. Jessica, thanks for your time. Will this plea help him avoid prison time?
Absolutely. He was facing 18 counts. He decided to plead guilty to 1 count. And so obviously, if this did go to trial, if he was convicted on all 18 or even more, he certainly faced the possibility of more than what he's looking at right now, which is 60 months probation and, of course, restitution, where he's essentially, I think, going to have to pay back the profit that he made from this book.
Oh.
So obviously, most cases don't go to trial. When it comes to a plea deal, both sides generally are getting something. In this case, he's avoiding the possibility of being convicted on the 17 other counts, pleading guilty to 1, and assuring himself that this will be less time than if he was convicted on everything.
And Jessica, as you mentioned there, Bolton only pleaded guilty to 1 count of the 18 charges against him. So what's the next step here? When we look at the big picture, when do we realize if the judge is okay with this plea agreement? What comes next?
So the judge will look at and bless the plea agreement. In the vast majority of cases, not only do they not go to trial, but a judge accepts the plea agreement as long as it is voluntary and both parties understand exactly what they're agreeing to. Then there will be a sentencing, and the judge is not going to do that this week, is my strong suspicion. We're talking about months, where both sides will submit sentencing memorandum and talk about why John Bolton will say that he should get the lowest amount and no prison time. And I think the prosecution will argue that there should be something closer to 60 months in prison.
And Jessica, can you talk to us about how this particular case is different from other cases against President Trump's political enemies?
I think this is a really important question. And so, and apologies, I don't know if I froze there, but the question goes to the idea that this investigation actually began during, and apologies, Mugo. I don't know
Oh, no,
if I
it's fine.
froze
Keep
there.
going. We just keep going. It's totally fine.
Sorry. So this investigation actually ramped up during the Biden administration, and that is significantly different. What we also have in this investigation, something I always look to.
Well, the thing that's different that they don't want to acknowledge is that John Bolton is not a Democrat, so they don't care. They're like, it's okay. Gotta go after him. We don't care. We don't care. You know, we don't like him anyway. It's not like the people we like. That's the difference. But yes, John Bolton committed crimes. So did a bunch of other people. Now, will Trump give him a pardon? I don't think Trump will give him a pardon, but I would not be opposed to Trump commuting his sentence because of his age and everything, and just basically saying, you know, you did wrong. You still got the conviction, but you don't have to serve any prison time. You know, maybe I don't know. Am I being too nice and too generous? Just so that let everyone else know, like, hey, listen, you guys fucked around. You know, we don't want this guy that's 80 to die in prison, but you know, he's gotta be like, you know, wear it for the rest of his life that he broke the law. Maybe. I don't know.
Is that, in fact, career prosecutors supported this prosecution. When you look at Letitia James, when you look at James Comey, what you have are career prosecutors indicating serious concerns about those cases. And so this case, I think, is different because the career prosecutors, not people who are politically appointed, are saying, we think there's a there. And because we have.
Well, that says more about those career prosecutors than anyone else, where if you have a D behind your name or if you're on their side, they don't care what you do. But like I said, pleading guilty to one, rat bastards. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it works, though. Send him back to Africa. Could be. Looks like Aubrey Plaza. Okay. You keep saying, Greg, you keep saying we lost. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Plea bargain. Can't even win with a stacked deck. Yeah. Sheeple are not ready for the truth. We know death becomes tyrants. This is not the time for leniency. Okay. He'll serve 2.5 years in a country club prison, write another book, and live about his life just fine. Okay. That would be stupid. Okay. So, Republicans, rhinos, so different than tyrants, enemy of the people. Would you get a commutation? I wouldn't get one. I don't know. I disagree. Easy on Walrus, but look at Tina Peters. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I expect our side to be more. I mean, maybe let him serve 6 months, maybe, and then commute his sentence. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. All traitors should be executed instead of put up and housed for the rest of their lives on taxpayer money. They only needed 3 weeks. Okay. No parole in the federal system. Jim, they made up charges that would put Trump in prison for 700 years. I agree. That what they did to Trump was completely wrong, and all of these prosecutions are completely justified. What I'm saying is that we are the better people, this side. We are the better people. We don't do things simply out of spite and vindictiveness. We want the law to be followed and obeyed. I don't know. Bolton argued that Trump should face execution, life, for what he just admitted to doing. Screw him. Oh, he did that? Bolton actually said that? Well, if he said that, then I can't see Trump granting him any type of clemency if he said that stuff. Gracie says Peters was state, Bolton is federal. Fry him. That's the problem. Our side are candy asses. No, I mean, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying, like, I don't see him getting a pardon. What I was saying is I could see some, rumblance of where Trump would say, like, oh, maybe I'll, after he serves some time, commute his sentence to, like, I don't know. Maybe not, but maybe. I mean, No sympathy for demons. Okay. Traitors are like Iran. They go unpunished. Are heroes to the other traitors. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You guys are changing my mind. MAGA is tired of being taken advantage without even being kissed. Okay. You're an animal, Travis. Okay. Waka Waka. I know that's not the Waka Waka guy, but I just like saying that. To heal neuropathy, go to the Lighthouse Medical in Florida. Tell them Brian Craig sent you. He's on YouTube. He has a Good Morning Radio show, MAGA69. Okay. Thanks, Dizzy D. Not the Trump video, but along the same lines. All right. Let me look at that. All right. All right. Okay. I will play this in a second here once we get through this. So let's finish listening to what these clowns say.
Of the investigation really ramping up during a different administration, during the Biden administration.
That's right. That's right. Jessica Levinson.
That's right. That's right. So it makes it all the difference because it was under the Biden administration. And they, according to them, the Biden administration didn't do anything crooked. So, all right. So he's going to agree to pay a $2.25 million fine. Let's see what Faux News says. Trump official pleads guilty to 1 in 18 counts. I think, did we see all this? Trump doesn't like Bolton. Oh, I know he doesn't like Bolton, but Trump doesn't, I don't know. Trump doesn't strike me as somebody who holds grudges very long. Like he pissed, but generally speaking, he doesn't. Of course, nothing really bad is going to happen to him. It's the D factor. If they can learn, but if they never learn, then they should not be wasted as examples to the unlearned traitors. All right. Bolton is worth $6 million. I would like to see him cleaning toilets in prison. How the hell did he make $2.2 million? Off selling his book. That's the amount that he got paid for the book. $2.2 million. 2.2 millions. Oh wow. Oh wow. I don't know. Did we see this already? This whole press conference?
Thank you all for being here today. The rules governing classified and national defense information apply equally to everyone, regardless of position and regardless of how long you have served with the United States government. This morning, just moments ago, John Robert Bolton II pled guilty in federal court to the unlawful retention of national defense information. According to the terms of the plea agreement, Mr. Bolton faces a maximum sentence of up to 5 years in prison, followed by a term of up to 3 years of supervised release. He will also pay a fine of $2.25.
So the maximum of 5 years is all he can get. So it's not going to be 10. It's a maximum of 5. Wow. What about all the documents that Biden had in his garage next to his Corvette? He was not authorized to have those. Nothing to see here, folks. Yeah, I mean, Biden, they did say Biden broke the law, but that guy said that, it would be impossible to charge him because the jury would be sympathetic to this guy who basically lost his marbles, who doesn't know. Hey, Joe, thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by. Hank says he has a scraped tendon under her left kneecap. Sure hurts. Well, that will, man. That will. Sledge-O-Matic, what's up, buddy? Trump said Bolton had his uses good for making people nervous because he's so hawkish. Yeah, I mean, any news on a conspiracy case against Comey? I haven't seen any. You love Michael Bolton? Yeah. What's your favorite song? That's right. Remember that. Here's Bolton smearing Trump. Okay. All right.
$1 million and will forfeit
He's a traitor.
his
Okay.
pension under the HIS Act. As National Security Advisor to the President of the United States, Mr. Bolton had access to and was responsible for safeguarding the most sensitive national defense information, including classified material. Mr. Bolton knew how to handle classified information, where it should be stored, how it should be stored, and with whom he could share that information. He also knew the damage to national security that could be caused by mishandling that sensitive information. Nevertheless, as Mr. Bolton just admitted, he put our national security at grave risk in violation of the law. Our system of classified information is designed to protect sensitive information that would jeopardize national security if mishandled. And the national defense information at issue in this case was classified at the highest classification levels. The document in count 12, for example, revealed intelligence about an adversary's plans for an attack conducted against U.S. forces in another country. It contained human intelligence using sensitive sources and methods, and it discussed a covert action program. As Mr. Bolton admitted, he shared more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities as the National Security Advisor, including information related to the national defense, with two individuals who neither had the security clearances nor the need to know that information. And remarkably, he did so using his personal email account and non-government messaging applications. The mishandling of classified information can damage our relationship with allies. It can expose sensitive sources and methods, and it can jeopardize the success of our covert missions. One of the reasons why there are so many safeguards protecting national defense information is so that this sensitive information does not fall into the hands of our enemies. And that is exactly what happened here. A cyber actor believed to be associated with the Islamic Republic of Iran hacked Mr. Bolton's personal email account and gained unauthorized access to some of the classified and national defense information in that account. This case is another example of how my office works with our law enforcement partners to ensure that justice is always served. I want to specifically thank Special Agent Jimmy Paul, our special agent in charge of our FBI's Baltimore field office, and his team for their work in this investigation. I also want to thank the FBI's New York field office for its valuable assistance. The Department of Justice works hard every day to protect the people of the state of Maryland and the United States and to protect our national security. No one is above the law, and I hope that this prosecution sends a clear message that we will vigorously investigate and prosecute individuals who violate our national security laws without fear and without favor, and we will bring wrongdoers to justice.
Oh, okay. So
good morning. Thank you all for being here today.
What are you doing?
Governing class.
Anyway, so that's what happened to Bolton. Looks like he's going to get 5 years. Maybe, who knows if he's going to actually be gone for 5 years. Yes, he absolutely knew better, but he did it anyway. No mercy. All right, you guys sold me. No pardon, no commutation. He's got to do the time. He did the crime. He's got to do the time. Bolton also knew not to remove the docs, but chose to do it for personal gain through subterfuge. Well, that's the thing. He did it. He did it very specifically. Like Joe says, glad he's going to jail. Many in the service have done far more time for far less. Yeah. Some guy took a selfie to send to his kid or something, and they got him because there was something in the background that, like, I don't know, just like a control panel was in the background, but it's just a control panel. I mean, like, oh no, it's all classified. And here's some of what here's Bolton spent 2024 going on every cable show in America smearing President Trump. Today he pled guilty for doing exactly what he falsely accused the president of doing.
And so I think a lot of these documents he may have just thought were cool. A lot of them he thought might be souvenirs. A lot of them he thought might be useful to him later. I can't answer the
How so,
question
do you
until
think?
I see the document. But well, there are a lot of theories that he could use it as information against his enemies, that he could give it to people in exchange for favors. We don't know. And frankly, I don't think speculating about the reasons is all that helpful. The simple fact he had the documents for any reason or no reason should subject him to prosecution.
But he's the
how do you
president.
think this ends?
He's the president. He has the entitlement to the documents. He's the ultimate declassification authority. So, what?
For the former president.
Well, I think if I were an innocent person, if I were Donald Trump and I were innocent, I'd be saying, I want this insult to my integrity, I use these words loosely, removed as soon as possible. I'm prepared to waive a lot of frivolous procedural motions. I want to go to trial in the next 60 days. I don't want to drag this out. I'm innocent. I can prove it. Let's go. Does anybody think Donald Trump's really going to do that? I hope the Justice Department really does try for a speedy trial, because frankly, the sooner it goes to a jury and we find out their answer, whatever that answer is going to be, the better for the country.
Oh, what a dick. So he got what he deserved. So obviously he knows he wasn't innocent, because he just said if you were innocent, you would go to trial immediately. And since he pled guilty, that means he knows he was guilty and everything he was guilty of. Joe said, this is for my tardiness. No excuse, just lazy. No, it's not lazy. Everything happens. I had severe thunderstorms here, Joe. Did you have any of those bad storms? It was really bad. I had to start late because it was late time. You know, power kept going out. So thank you for the 2. With that 2, it means we are now just $88 away from adding a first additional hour, and just $38 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. And then I see a gifted membership from Ank. Thank you, Ank. Thank you so much. With that means, folks, we are now just $82 away from adding a first additional hour, and just $32 away from Bellavision. Bellavision! Thank you. Let's see who got that gifted membership. Where is it? Why can't I find it? Oh, there it is. It says, Mr. K received a gifted membership from Ank. Well, thank you so much, Ank, for the gifted membership. And Mr. K, welcome to the JimSomniacs. Welcome to the JimSomniacs. He should have been made to have his playing on loop in his entire sentence. Yes. And, oh, my goodness. Thank you, Ank. Wow. Wow. With that means, folks, that Bellavision is activated for the evening. There she is. Thank you so much, Hank. All righty. And that means, folks, we are now just $52 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Hank. And that also means that we brought 5 new people. Yes, 5 new people in to the JimSomniacs. Who are these people? It says that Boomer approved 414, Sandy Thompson 6905, Cynthia Fire Fairy 42, David Jones 9082, and Michael Stetson all became members of JimSomniacs and members of the channel thanks to Ank Ank. Thank you, Ank Ank. Yes. Thank you so much. And don't get too excited, people. He's going to Club Fed. My soldier lost a supercomputer we found the same day, and he lost his career, so fuck him. Too bad he got a negotiated plea. Freaking scumbag. Okay. And then Lurch Linger comes through with a gifted membership. Thank you, Lurch. Thank you so much, Lurch. Thank you. With that, folks, that means we are now just $46 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. And Cat Not Williams. Cat Not Williams became a member of the JimSomniacs. A member of the JimSomniacs thanks to Lurch Linger. Thank you, everybody. We are more than halfway to adding an additional hour to the show. That is just great. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the new JimSomniacs. That's right. Yeah, Gracie, how you doing? Great to see you. Yes, thank you, Lurch. Thank you, Lurch. Thank you, Ank. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody. Yes. Bella. Hey, what's up, Derek? Good to see you. Just to remind everybody, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, because it looks like we are only about 50 people hit the like, and we got like 90 people watching. So that's like half the people didn't hit the like button. And then there's this other thing with some more stuff about John Bolton, which, well. John Bolton said the scam declassified document case against Trump should end his career, and Julian Assange should get 176 years. Life comes at you fast, John.
Population. If he has anything like what the indictment alleges, and of course the government will have to prove it, then he has committed very serious crimes. This is a devastating indictment. I speak here as an alumnus of the Justice Department myself, because not only is it powerful, it's very narrowly tailored. They didn't throw everything up against the wall to see what would stick. This really is a rifle shot, and I think it should be the end of Donald Trump's political career. He gets at least 176 years in jail for what he did.
Some breaking news out of John Bolton's classified information case. So he is now in court and expected to change his plea to guilty.
Womp, womp. Womp, womp, womp. All right. Well, good riddance, John. Good riddance, Mr. Walrus. So, breaking news. Alexander Iniguez Mercado of Chicago is the 8th suspect arrested for the UFC terror plot. Oh. Don't go to bed with no price on your head. No, don't do it. No, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't do it. Maybe give him clemency if he shaved his head and mustache. Maybe. Cuckoo, ka-choo. That line will make a lot of friends in prison. As a former member of the Justice Department. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Come on, don't be a Democrat. Hit the like button. We got the 8th Bolton hog feed. Yeah. And he dyes himself purple. That's what he should do. An 8th suspect arrested for the UFC terror plot. Another man has been arrested over the foiled plot to attack the UFC Freedom 250 event that took place at the White House earlier this month, bringing the total to 8 suspects arrested. Alexander Iniguez Mercado of Chicago was allegedly an administrator and member of the Signal messaging group that includes members who appeared to communicate with others regarding the planning of the violent attack targeting the UFC event. I was in the other room. Thanks for the reminder to like, and don't forget to subscribe. Well, thank you. Mercado was taken into custody on Thursday, facing 20 years in prison. According to the indictment against Mercado, the day before the UFC event, an FBI agent contacted and spoke with him and told him that he was calling regarding the planned attack in the UFC event if he had plans to travel to D.C. Mercado allegedly denied his plans to do so and said he didn't want to meet with the agent. After speaking with the agent, he uninstalled Signal on his phone, which caused data related to his prior communications about the alleged plot to be unavailable. Of Chicago. Yeah, very interesting. Guess who? Gonna love one of these booking photos. Okay. After the Mar-a-Lago raid, everyone at X became an instant expert on Presidential Records Act and Clinton's stock drawer case. Liberals incorrectly thought the PRA criminalized Trump. It doesn't. There's no criminal There's nothing criminal with the Presidential Records Act. It doesn't have any criminal punishments. The Congress can't. That's the thing, is the Congress cannot make laws to criminalize president's actions. Chicago, give him a few days. Some idiot judge will let him go. Sorry, Jim, but Iraq's a shithole full of black girl presidents. Oh, I know it is. It's a liberal hellhole. Really is. Mercado denied his plans, and then he erased Signal. He's been charged with obstruction of justice and was set to appear in federal court in Chicago on Friday. Obstructing justice in a law enforcement investigation to a planned violent domestic attack is profoundly serious. The investigation in the case involves serious threats to public safety, including the safety of President Trump, the 45th and 47th president, other members of government, as well as many attendees and athletes who attended the event at the White House. Any obstructive conduct to interfere with this investigation undermines the integrity of the justice system as well as the rule of law. The Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office will pursue the appropriate charges against those who act to obstruct law enforcement investigation because safeguarding the public depends on full, unhindered pursuit of evidence. Karen O, I like how Jim skips over the kind comments. What comment? Not care what any tyrant wants, failure of duty, the people choose. What comment? Suffer. I'm not skipping over any comments. Oh, this one, when he takes it in the AZ. Sad part is all those that participated in the Trump secret document scam all knew they were wrong. Those are the ones I want locked up, including the FBI agents. Definitely. I don't know. Obstruction is a lot weaker than planned terrorist attack. Jay Schwartz says, thank you, Hank. You're about done with YouTube? Why? What did it do now? YouTube's very stinky. Stupid phone. Yeah, it is. It's stupid phone. Stupid. YouTube's stupid. Everything's stupid. There are a total of 8 suspects have been arrested, including Mercado, as well as Tyson Proper, Byron Roa, Michael Thomas, Daniel Eskridge, Abraham Alvarez, William Lee Spartacus Faulkner, and Jordan W. Rinkner. Alvarez was the alleged leader of the plot and is also an illegal immigrant. He was charged with conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States and conspiracy to commit murder. People whose job it is to prosecute others for dereliction of duties are just as guilty, if not more, than the perpetrators. Yes, it is. True. So that's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Okay, and then we got this case. Hey, Sleeping, what's up? How you doing? Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Eight North Carolina women plead guilty in a $25 million COVID fraud scheme, and their names are their destiny. Their names are their destiny. 8 North Carolina women plead guilty to a fraud scheme, and as they say, your name is your destiny. 2 of the defendants are named Leach and Swindle. According to the federal prosecutors, a Robeson County woman who owned a tax return preparation business conspired with others to prepare false tax returns, claiming fraudulent refunds based on COVID tax credits. Wow. 7 other co-conspirators were arrested and charged with preparing federal tax returns for clients that include materially false items. Per the DOJ, Robeson County woman was the owner of a North Carolina tax return preparation business, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to prepare false returns, claiming fraudulent returns based on COVID-19 tax credits, and assisting in the tax preparation of false tax documents. Mitchell, 48, faces a maximum term of 8 years in prison and a $500,000 fine when she is sentenced later this year. She will also be ordered to pay a forfeiture money judgment of $13,890,697. Oh my Lord. That's a lot of money. That's almost 14 millions. 7 other tax return preparers have already pleaded guilty for their roles in the same fraud scheme. So what about all the people who got the money, though? If they're just the tax return preparers, if they're the people that were preparing the tax returns, what about the people who got the money? Aren't they all fraudsters? According to court documents and statements made in court, Nejli Mitchell owned and operated a tax preparation business out of Lumberton, North Carolina, and Hope Mills, North Carolina, from approximately April 2022 through May 2023. Mitchell and 7 employees filed false tax returns seeking fraudulent refunds based on COVID-19 tax credits. Wow. As a result of the conspiracy, the IRS paid out approximately $13,890,697 in fraudulent tax refund claims. 7 other co-conspirators previously pleaded guilty for preparation of federal tax returns for clients that included material false items. Tiffany Moody and Janine Ray pleaded guilty in December 2025. Eubu McBurney, wow, that's a very interesting. Eubu McBurney and Katrina Standback pleaded guilty in September 2025. Janine Negron and Sylvia Swindle, well, she's a swindler, pleaded guilty in August 2025. And Whitney Leach pleaded guilty in May 2026. Wow, she's a real leech. 8 women that were just found guilty. Literally name Leach and Swindle. Oh, Najaya Mitchell. Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. This is, I mean, look at this. Look at these. What is going on with this face? Oh, wait. What is going on with that face? That is like, the one on the top left, that is like, oh, man. Anyone else see Bill the Cat? What? Where? Most tax preparers say I prepared your tax returns based on the information you provided. That's their out. Yeah, wouldn't it be? That's a whole lot of woman. A really bad spray tan. Something going on there, right? A face only a mother can love. And then we got Tiffany Moody, Janine Ray, Eubu McBurney, Katrina Standback, Jeannie Negron. Well, that's funny. Her name is Negron, and she's the lightest one out of all of them. That's funny. I see Bill the Cat next to last. Okay. Now I get it. Bottom third. Bottom second to the right. Okay. You could fix them, Jim. Jim would not even attempt to fix any of them. Hey, it's Juneteenth. They celebrated. Yeah. Number 7 looks like an early 4th. Yeah, like it looks like she's hanging upside down. Like maybe, yeah. What the F? It looks like Lumberton, North Carolina. Lol, do they even work there? I'm saying she looks like she's hanging upside down, like that hair hanging upside down. And then Whitney Leach, that AI going horribly wrong. Could be. So that's that story, and that's very interesting. Very interesting. All right. Now on to the next story. We got information out of the Charlie Kirk case. The judge made a ruling about supposedly that the prosecutors are being held in contempt.
Happening today, a Utah judge rules whether prosecutors could be punished for comments made to media about evidence recovered from the assassination case of Charlie Kirk. Let's go live to our CBS Newsroom in New York and correspondent Chanel Call show. Chanel, what comments are we talking about here?
Right. So lawyers for Tyler Robinson, who, as you know, Reed, is the man who police believe shot and killed Charlie Kirk last year, are here in court today. They're asking the judge in this case to essentially take the death penalty off the table, to request to block that from happening. Why? Well, they're claiming here that prosecutors in this case, they say, went on a media tour. And they've talked about ballistic evidence that the defense team is now arguing was inconclusive, and they say could sway potential jurors. So they're asking the judge today to take the death penalty off the table in this case. And remember, this is an extremely high-profile story that we've been following for several months now. This trial is going to be highly watched as well. And so prosecutors from the Utah County Attorney's Office said, look, there were a lot of false narratives out there. They said that there were conspiracy theories, and there was so much speculation about what may or may not have happened that they felt compelled to come forward and share some pieces of the story. Prosecutors have also said, Reed, that if Robinson is convicted in this case, they will be seeking the death penalty. So we'll have to see how the judge today rules on this request to block that potentially from happening. Again, this has not come down just yet. We're keeping a close eye on this. As for Tyler Robinson, he has not entered a plea so far.
Chanel Call, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Now join.
Thank you so much. So Charlie Kirk murder case finds prosecutor in contempt, but won't take death penalty off the table. That's right. Prosecutor's been found in civil contempt after making comments on the strength of the murder case against Tyler Robinson, the man accused of shooting and killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Well, I would call him a lot more than a conservative activist. But anyway, if anyone was wondering what Bill the Cat was, this is Bill the Cat right there. I guess that's 100% what that lady looked like. Definitely. Announcing my presence on Loopy Meds. I'll be here in the back row. Thanks, Gypsy, for being here. So if you plead guilty and are convicted, can you be pardoned? Sure. If you plead not guilty and are convicted, can you be pardoned? Sure. If you plead not guilty and are convicted, you can be pardoned. Anyone can be pardoned for anything. Candace's innocent little boy. Report what happened. Yes. You come with, give Jim some corrective actions. I forgot the last time I fixed a woman. I would rather hammer my nuts with a flat wooden mallet. Oh, good to know. Yeah, Kofi says I just watched this and Vigilante again as a watch along on Kirch's live stream. Good movie. Yeah, I think it's a good movie. I mean, it could be better, but a pardon is an official act of forgiveness by state or federal authorities that can restore certain rights, remove some penalties, or clear a record for specific purposes. It's not the same as expungement or commutation, which have different effects. Cricket's prettier than Bill the Cat, definitely. And if the governor pardons that murderer, he'll never be governor again. Yeah. I must say it's a dark day in the tax preparation industry. Yes, if found guilty. Yeah. You wouldn't be pardoned if you're not found guilty. So Judge Tony Graff Jr. ruled in a virtual hearing on Friday that prosecutors were in civil contempt for making comments about the media about a bullet fragment recovered from Kirk's body. Well, was it the defense making the same arguments about stuff, going around telling people that the bullets didn't match and saying all the shit? I don't understand. So the defense can say a bunch of shit. Accepting a pardon is an admission of guilt. I think you have to accept the pardon. That you can, I don't know how it works exactly. I think so. Defense team asked the Graff block the death penalty in a case, claiming the prosecutor's comments could sway potential jurors. Graff declined to do so, ruling that the prosecution could continue to pursue the death penalty. The defense team previously accused prosecutors, including Deputy Utah County Attorney Christopher Ballard, of going on a media tour. At a May hearing, Ballard argued he didn't speak to the media about the case specifics, and he had only remarked generally about how ballistics testing can be inconclusive. It says a pardon can be refused. Yes, you ask for a pardon. Well, it depends. Sometimes you ask for a pardon, sometimes they just give you one. I think. I don't know. There'll be additional jury questionnaires, and the jury pool may be expanded. That's what Graff said. So yeah, they'll have much more people in the jury because of all this. It just seems ridiculous. Robinson's been charged with aggravated murder and has not yet entered a plea. How has he not entered a plea? His preliminary hearing is set to begin July 6th. Colty says the SWAT team had their special weapons but forgot their special tactics. Oh, you're talking about in American or in Citizen Vigilante. Yeah, it was very. I'd accept a pardon even for stuff I'm not guilty for. If you get charged and prosecuted, no telling if you got convicted, even if you're innocent. Yeah. Robinson's been charged with aggravated murder, hasn't entered a plea. Graff ruled earlier this week that a former roommate of Robinson will not have to testify in person during the preliminary hearing, which will be open to the public. General Flynn, thank you, Brenda. General Flynn accepted Trump's pardon, but not because he was guilty. Sidney Powell took over his case and proved that he had been framed. The Obama buddy judge didn't want to let it go even after. Yeah, even after the pardon, they tried to keep it going. Or even after the DOJ tried to withdraw the charges or do. Tyler Robinson still faces a death penalty. Even after having his hand slapped and being ordered to dismiss the case, Trump pardoned Flynn to stop the nonsense. Oh, yeah, that's right. The judge tried to keep it going after they're like, no, we're stopping the prosecution. They're like, oh, no, we don't want to. Oh, no, you have to. So all the people Biden pardoned preemptively guilty. Yes. But of what? We don't even know. We could just speculate because they took the pardons. They accepted them. They took the king's shilling, as they say. They took the king's shilling. That's an old one. You give a scathing rebuke of the prosecutors, according to this. So, judge found prosecutors civil contempt. Team claimed the prosecutors need to be sanctioned after responding to a misleading defense filing suggesting the BATF determined the bullet in the gun Robinson allegedly used to shoot conservative podcaster didn't match the one found in the body. So that's the thing, is the defense is doing this stuff and then they're trying to respond to it. U.S. bows to no kings. Yeah, but it's a saying. If you take the king's shilling, the king's shilling, you have to do the king's bidding. You're the king's man. That, you take the pardon, you got to do the, it comes with what it comes with. Biden was pretty empty. Yep, not commuted. Yeah. Graphic acknowledged that Robson's lawyer initiated the media frenzy, and that led to Ballard that felt the need to correct the inaccurate report suggesting the ATF findings exonerated Robertson's. The King Shillong? Well, maybe. Yeah, servants and stipends. Yep. The pardon comes with a hot dog. Yeah. It's cheaper than a hot dog with no mustard. You guys know that song? The judge twice in his order mentioned the Daily Mail's inaccurate headline from the story. Bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match rifle allegedly used by Tyler Robinson, new court filing claims. Graf said that the article went live. Other outlets rapidly echoed this narrative. Okay, and while Ballard's comments on the bullet evidence didn't cross a line, he did flout the gag order when he told certain outlets that his office had enough evidence to convict Robinson. Parole is a conditional early release from prison, while a pardon is complete forgiveness of a crime that removes all legal consequences. If you play cribbage for his knobs, okay. Horseradish, great stuff. Yes. Graf also said he would take additional precautions but when selecting a jury. So so that's what they're doing. So the gunman set to face a multi-day hearing next month where videos of the shooting could be shown to Graf and where evidence from Robinson's trans furry lover, Lance Twiggs, is expected to be presented. Twiggs was videotaped as he was interviewed by investigators in exchange for partial immunity, and that footage is expected to be shown to Graf, as well as a text message that Robinson allegedly sent. Why is it always allegedly? He sent the fucking message. Come on. The purpose of the hearing is for Graf to determine if there's enough evidence for his case to move forward to trial. Professional legal BS. The blanket pardons will be found not to be a real pardon. Need specificity of a crime. I mean, I don't know, where does it say that, though? That's the problem. Where does it say that? Does it say it in the Constitution anywhere? It just says that the president has the right to pardon people, or have president power is plenary pardon power. His heels is if you get the jack for 2 points. Protesting a king when there is none is a sign of psychosis. I agree. So Charlie Kirk judge. Why is it Charlie Kirk judge? No, it's the Tyler Robinson judge.
Big developments in two high-profile cases this morning. Attorneys for double murder suspect Alex Murdaugh are making new requests and highlighting new DNA evidence ahead of an upcoming hearing.
Meanwhile, attorneys for accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione reportedly came close to a plea deal with prosecutors. Chanley Painter here with the details. Chanley.
Hey, Todd and Carly, good morning. So let's start in South Carolina, where defense attorneys for Alex Murdaugh have filed new motions this week ahead of their scheduled hearing in his case on Monday. Take a look at this. First, they're asking for independent testing of unknown male DNA found underneath Maggie Murdaugh's fingernails. Second, they also want a change of venue out of his county where his previous double murder trial took place. And finally, his attorneys are also requesting the former Low County lawyer have access to a secure laptop behind bars so he can help review evidence and prepare his case. Murdaugh was previously convicted in the 2019 deaths of his wife Maggie and son Paul, but last month, the South Carolina Supreme Court threw out those convictions, finding improper interference by the former county clerk during his 2023 trial.
I'm kind of sick of Murdaugh too, but I will say that I don't personally think he killed his wife and son. I mean, I would want that investigated because whoever did that needs to be prosecuted and found. I don't know if it was somebody, if it was because of the son's boat accident that somebody was getting revenge for the girl that got killed, or if it was something to do with the drug dealing shit, if he's involved in cartels or some kind of organized crime with drugs or people that he was robbing and all this type of amount of money and stuff that was stolen and stuff. The case is very weird. It is. And I want someone to get to the bottom of it. Whoever did it needs to be found and prosecuted. And I just don't think it was him. I just don't. I haven't seen anything, there was nothing and no evidence at all that I saw on that trial that said like, oh, I think he did it. Everything was like, it wasn't him, it was someone else. So that's all.
Though Murdaugh remains behind bars for his financial crimes, his lawyers have asked that he be able to appear unshackled and in civilian clothes for his retrial. But after prosecutors accused him of seeking special treatment, his attorneys withdrew that request. They said this, quote, "If the state wants to use that for a public spectacle, so be it. Mr. Murdaugh will not waste the court's time at his upcoming status conference arguing about optics." And meantime, in New York, defense attorneys for Luigi Mangione reportedly came close to a possible plea deal with federal prosecutors, but that has since fallen aside. His attorneys said this, quote, "This information attributed to anonymous sources is part of a troubling, deliberate pattern by prosecutors and law enforcement to prejudice Luigi, manipulate public opinion, and violate his constitutional right to a fair trial and impartial jury." This all comes after.
Well, this all comes, and I want everybody to be aware of these people that are representing him. One of them was a CNN legal analyst who's now representing him. Everything they're doing, like they're probably the ones that leaked this out about the plea deal just to cause problems. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. iRule says he totally did it. Okay. Sludge-O-Matic says, bet it was the judge. I agree. Murdaugh, not killed, just stole. Same. He is a monster, but he didn't kill his wife and son. Zero evidence. Wonder what his other son thinks. Hell, could be his firm to keep him from talking about their shenanigans. And then iRule says he did it. He did it. Yes. For sure, some cartel about drugs. His other son thinks he did it. Well, his other son believed what the court said. His other son just seems a little dense to me. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. Maybe the other son did it. He was caught on the son's phone speaking, even though he said he wasn't there. Nothing else added up. Yeah, but the times on that was off because it wasn't like the times are weird. It was like he was off, but they don't know when these people got killed. So like there's no way to wash. Like he would have had stuff on him unless he was wearing like a Dexter Morgan suit, you know, like basically all decked out in the Tyvek and everything with the mask and everything was covered. And he got rid of that somewhere. What the F says, I agree. I don't believe he killed them. He's a scumbag for the financial crimes, but not a killer. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. There's a bunch of other people that are involved in those financial crimes. He did not do that alone, the financial crimes. Buster wants him to stay in jail for a reason. Yeah, because with him in jail, Buster gets to keep all the family money and everything. Dexter got to keep all the family properties that were in the trust and stuff that they couldn't touch. Like there's a bunch of properties that they got to keep and stuff like that. He had an alibi. Buster had an alibi. Looks like the new strategy defense leaks to get special exemptions. That's what I'm thinking is going on in the Luigi case. The defense is purposely leaking things and then blaming it and saying, oh my God, now we can't get this. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. All I need is evidence to convince me it's an interesting case indeed. That's all I need. Accountants did it involved. And the gun, yeah. They didn't find the guns, all the stuff. Yeah. And the thing that they tried to say, like, oh, the casings here have the same extractor marks for, like these other guns. Here's the thing. Those tool mark analysis is shit science. It's bullshit. With modern machining and the way stuff's manufactured now in the last 30 years, they're identical. Everything is identical. They're all made with tolerances in the thousandth of an inch. So, of course, they're going to put the same marks on a case, the extractor, because they're all exactly the same on every gun. That's why they make them. That's why the guns are all interchangeable. It's not like it was years ago when guns were all hand-fitted and handmade and every gun made different marks on it. They're not. Yeah, the angles. Yeah, the angles of the shooting and stuff. Yes. Hey, check it out. Jim is less than $50 away from another hour. Let's rally. And it's not like there aren't a ton of people who'd love to frame them. Yeah. He's pissed because his dead son was getting him outed after killing the girl he knew was going to get found out. Oh. Yeah, remember the investigation was so thorough that the defense found a bullet they missed at the murder scene. That's the thing too. Like that's what was called SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division or whatever. It's so crooked and garbage. They really are. They're like crooked garbage. They're horrible. The family are corrupt. Their whole family, the whole thing, they're all corrupt. Anybody who was involved with them. You know what I'm saying? His dad and grandpa have been getting away with shit for years. That's what I'm saying, the whole thing. But there's other people involved in that. That's what I'm saying. In the financial stuff. That's why I think they did what they did, because all these other judges and prosecutors and different attorneys, they were all part of this stuff. They were all ripping people off, and it was a money-making scheme. They were making millions and millions of dollars. And they wanted get rid of him really quick and keep your mouth shut. That's what I think. SLED is a model of incompetency. Definitely. Look at this. Oh, I appreciate you, Jim Himbo. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much for the 10, American Dreamer. That makes me feel so much better. Right now, folks, we're just $36 away. Just $36 away from a first additional hour of the show. Kind of like the Massachusetts cops, Karen Reed. Yeah, that's what I think. Do you think Karen Reed... You think Karen Reed did it? I mean, I think they specifically proved that there's no way that guy was hit by that John O'Keefe was hit by a car. That's what I think. I don't think he was hit by a car. Yeah, something stinks with that case. Tool marks are BS. Kirk's ammo was inconclusive, and Alex did it. Paul's attorney's fees would expose AM. Maggie was leaving him and talking half. Law firm was putting pressure. Alex is guilty. Okay, KPT. I just don't think there was any evidence put forward other than supposedly she talked. I mean, it was all like very circumstantial. John was not hit by anything bigger than a fist. Yeah. He's like the Charlie Brown character that leaves dirt everywhere he went.
His attorneys in his case, his state murder case, withdrew notice that they plan to argue Mangione suffered from extreme emotional disturbance. The 28-year-old faces both federal and state charges in the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last December. He is back in federal court on Monday. Guys, back to you.
Shanley, thank you. Meantime, to two other cases, three cases, in fact. Tyler Robinson back in court today for a virtual hearing as a Utah judge prepares to finally rule on whether prosecutors should be sanctioned for comments they made to reporters and whether those comments warrant removing the death penalty as a possible sentence.
The number one remedy in this case, Your Honor, is for this court to preclude the state from seeking the death penalty against Mr. Robinson. What we are talking about is the state without any guidance from this court, going out and trying to influence the public perception of this case.
Joining us now is criminal defense attorney David Gelman. David, good morning to you. So the question is, did prosecutors violate a gag order by talking to reporters? And if so, should the death penalty be taken off the table? The judge is expected to make this decision today. So what happens here?
Look, the judge is not going to be taking the death penalty off the table. He's not going to be sanctioning the attorneys. The attorneys are saying, listen, they talked about the case. Well, guess what? You know why they talked about it? Because the defense brought the ballistic bullets out to the public. So the prosecutors were saying, no, this is wrong. So the judge is going to have to weigh three factors. Number one, did they violate it? Did they intentionally violate it? And does this prejudice Tyler Robinson? Even if the first two are yes, the third prong in that is no. There's no prejudice at all to Tyler Robinson. So I don't see how the judge is possibly going to sanction the prosecution and take the death penalty off the table.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I would argue the prosecution has an obligation to clean up a mess the defense made in the media. I think that's their obligation. The state wants you to do that. You're arguing on behalf of the people. I think that you're 100% right on that. Huge day for Republicans and the president. Two major Supreme Court decisions. Let's start with the first one. Ruled the administration can move forward with ending temporary protected status for thousands of migrants who have been allowed to live and work legally in the U.S. And on the TPS case, the court ruled that the T in TPS does stand for temporary. And when the president wants to revoke that status, the courts do not have any jurisdiction to stop him. What does that mean going forward?
Well, you know, number one, I didn't even know temporary meant like you can stay here for at least 10 years, because that's exactly what TPS was exactly. But the courts were exactly right. They're saying, listen, district courts, you do not make immigration policy. You cannot enforce immigration policy. In fact, you have no standing to even question the president and Congress when it comes to immigration policy. So back off. That's what it means.
Okay, so the second ruling upholds the administration's metering policy, allowing officials to limit how many migrants can seek asylum at ports of entry along the southern border. So like if they are not in the United States yet, if they're still in Mexico, can they claim asylum?
No, they cannot. And Justice Alito, a New Jersey judge, by the way, thank you, Justice Alito, he said, just because you're there doesn't mean you're in. So you have to be in the country. Think of metering as like you're going to a concert, but the doors aren't open yet.
Right.
You're on the outside. Yeah, you're there, but you're not inside. That's what it really is about.
Yeah, the Democrats had some Dr. Seussian analysis of what the word in means. Keep it simple, guys. In means in the U.S., not like in Mexico being like, I'm close. Ramifications of this decision, David.
Well, number one, there's going to be deportations, obviously, like tremendously. But number two, asylum claims are going to go down. Now, the Democrats, especially Justice Sotomayor and all the dissenters, were saying, oh, well, this is going to be causing for harm for the people who are going to get asylum and they're going to be in danger. That's not accurate at all. You can still get asylum. Just go to the right port. And if your claim is valid, because only 5% are actually valid, if it's valid, you're going to get asylum.
Right. All right. So more opinions, 10 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. There are 8 left, including a ruling on birthright citizenship, big one. Whether states can ban biological males from competing in women's sports and how many days past Election Day mail-in ballots can be counted. So we'll have him back on to break down all of those as well.
And if we do have him back on, we will have him in studio, not just kind of like outside the studio floating around.
I appreciate that.
Because that's the way Alito wants it.
Copy. Understood.
Thanks, David.
David, good to see you.
All right. So we saw that. So the court finds that striking the death penalty is grossly disproportionate. No, we're not going to watch that. All right. Judge finds prosecutor in civil contempt, but for public comments. Inhaler, yeah. The only verification as to is the video correct. Yeah, that should be it. Yeah. Should be no trials. I agree. Is Shimkus pregnant? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. What do they think the T meant? Totally? Yes. That's interesting. Why not? I mean, I'm on the side of putting everything on, including SCOTUS. Definitely. Waste of our time, waste of our time and money, and an insult to justice. I disagree. Even if they're in, don't give them anything. They're an illegal. Makes no sense to me. Or, yeah, well. She is with her second boy. Good for her. That's awesome. So I think we covered this enough that the judge expected to rule on possible sanctions. What is this? This is the judge.
26. Defendant filed a motion to vacate or continue the preliminary hearing. In that motion, defense counsel characterized a forensic summary report from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, by stating that the ATF was unable to identify the bullet recovered at the autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. The actual ATF report concluded that the bullet jacket fragment could not be identified or excluded as having been fired from Exhibit 1 rifle, and that the results of the comparison was inconclusive. The defendant's framing of the ATF report in an unsealed public court filing promptly generated substantial media coverage. On March 30th, 2026, the Daily Mail published an article with the headline, "Bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson, new court filing claims." Other news outlets and social media commentators rapidly echoed this narrative, characterizing the ATF report as exculpatory, a bombshell that exonerates Robinson, and evidence that the state's case possessed a fundamental problem. Faced with a rapidly expanding public narrative that falsely suggested that the ATF had affirmatively excluded the defendant's rifle as the murder weapon, Deputy Utah County Attorney Christopher Ballard engaged in several communications with media outlets, including TMZ, USA Today, PolitiFact, and Fox News, between March 31st and April 2nd, 2026. In these communications, Mr. Ballard sought to correct the record regarding the definition of an inconclusive ballistics test. However, during these interviews, Mr. Ballard also provided statements regarding the overall strength of the state's evidence, asserting that the prosecution had ample evidence to demonstrate beyond a reasonable doubt that Tyler Robinson committed this murder, and that the state believed it would be able to overcome his presumption of innocence. On April 15, 2026,
all right, whatever. I don't. Let's get on to the next story. So President Trump threatens 100% tariffs on countries with digital service taxes on U.S. firms. That's right. All these countries, like the EU and different European countries, keep trying to say, we're going to tax your American companies for internet traffic or for different things. It's like, what? It's not so. President Trump on Friday warned European nations that they would face a 100% tariff on their goods if they impose a digital services tax on American companies. Numerous European countries have been discussing the imminent implementation of a digital services tax on American companies. Some of these countries are close to actually doing this. Please let this statement serve as represent that any country that imposes such a tax will immediately be met with a 100% tariff on any and all goods sent to the United States of America. This tariff will supersede the trade deals made with the country, whether implemented or signed or not. Additionally, the 100% tariff will be immediately imposed if they proceed. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Trump has pursued trade deals with nearly every nation since his imposition of Liberation Day tariffs. He previously reached a trade agreement with the European Union, though he appears poised to potentially disrupt it in favor of a retaliatory tariff. Well, where do these countries get off thinking, or does European Union think they could just place a digital services tax on companies for stuff that happens on the internet? Like, no, I don't think so. You know, that's ridiculous. Oh, look at the message. Cricket loves Bella. Ha ha ha. Oh, thank you. I was going to bring it up. I have it already downloaded on my computer. I was going to get it and put it on, but I guess I should now. Thank you for the 2. With that 2, that means we're now just $34 away, folks. Just $34 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. And since he brought it up, check this out. I just found out my house was invaded. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Super cool. So Trump to hit UK with 100% tariff immediately if labor imposes tax. That's right. The president's taking aim at any country, including the UK. Multiple countries, including the UK, are considering introducing such a charge on tech and social media firms that operate in their respective nations. Some of these countries are close to doing it. The tariff will supersede any trade deals. Among these firms are Apple, Facebook, Instagram, Meta, and Alphabet's Google. Yeah, they want to do it to all of these companies. That's right. The UK tax targets companies whose worldwide revenues from digital activities exceed £500 million. Like, where do they think they get off with this? With more than 25 million pounds of revenue from UK users. Like, where do they think they get off? That's not how any of this stuff works. Despite the White House residents protests, what the fuck are you talking about? He's just the resident. He's the president, you fucking cocksuckers over there in the UK. Go fuck yourself, the White House residents. UK taxpayers want high corporation taxes placed on giant global technology companies. Oh. A survey from the Fair Tax revealed 67% of respondents are of the opinion that the government should charge a higher digital services tax on multinational tech groups. Oh, okay. What happens when they just say, all right, we'll just stop, and no one in the UK can use our services then? And then they all have to get VPNs to do it. And then Britain can't do anything because none of the traffic is going to show up as going where it's supposed to go. The UK public care about many issues, but tax justice is consistently at the top of their concerns. Oh, well, you got more commies over there, it sounds like. Bunch of commies. Trump threatens 100% tariff. I hope he does it. I really do. Go ahead and do it. All right, on to the next story here. We got the judge just declares a mistrial in the Palisades arson case. Palisades fire arson case. Wow. First Assistant U.S. Attorney Bill Escalate has vowed to retry the case. The fire turned thousands of homes into ash. Well, hundreds of pounds of fireworks explode, destroying homes and fire. That's a bad news. So it says, like, the prosecutors have cell phone and video evidence placing the suspect at the location 13 seconds after the fire started. In addition, the suspect allegedly told ChatGPT he wanted to hold wealthy people accountable with the potential fire, accusing them of enslaving people. So look at that, ChatGPT. They store everything you talk to them about. So you should really remember that whenever you're entering anything to like Grok or ChatGPT.
Breaking news, a judge has just declared a mistrial in the Palisades federal arson case. This is big news. That fire burned 6,000 homes. It killed 12 people. That was in January of 2025. I'm sure you remember it well. William Lajeunesse is in Los Angeles. This is huge news. It's unexpected. What happened?
Well, Kaylee, last night they were deadlocked. And this morning, the judge spoke to each of the individual jurors. She found out that 10 wanted to vote not guilty, 2 wanted to go guilty, and they were unwilling to move on the arson charge and starting.
Why? Wait a minute. This is not anything that's supposed to be released, like that information. That the judge talked to them and asked them how they were leaning. That the judge is not supposed to do that. The judge is not supposed to do that. That is highly. How are you guys voting? Oh shit, they're voting this way. Well, I'm going to call a mistrial. What are you doing? That sounds completely off to me. Like that to me, the judge is interfering in the case, in their deliberations. They should never be asking them questions until after the mistrial was already declared. Then ask them how they, what was the breakdown or something, but not while it's going on. Where are you guys sitting? How do you think? Guilty, not guilty? What do you think? That seems really corrupt to me. I don't know.
In this fire that destroyed all this property. Now you can understand why. I want you to, I don't know if we have the full screen yet, but there was the jurors sent the judge a note last night, and it said, we have people on both sides that are dead set, unwavering, and they're at a standstill, and we are unsure how to proceed. There is nothing the court can do to assist the jury in the deliberations. So it would not help, and unfortunately, we cannot reach unanimous verdict. After receiving that, we declared a mistrial this morning. Now, if you've been watching this case, it's not a surprise, right? Because you have such different versions of the events. It's hard to see that there was any middle ground. The prosecutor's version was this fire was intentionally set. They have cell phone and video evidence that put Jonathan Rinderknecht at the ignition point 13 seconds after the fire started. Also, the Uber passenger said he acted erratically that night. Searches on his phone showed they hated rich people, he loved fire, and he acted defensively in the police interview. Now, how is that going to jibe? A juror going to reconcile that with the defense version, which said prosecutors had no physical evidence, they had no witnesses, no accelerant. And if he was guilty, why would this guy call 911 16 times, then wait around for the cops to question him? That made no sense. Defense also said it was fireworks that started the fire, and they had witnesses and experts to support that. Finally, you have the prosecutor saying, listen, he started the Lockman fire, and we also want to hold him responsible for the deadly Palisades fire based on this holdover fire theory, Kaylee, that high winds reignited that Lockman fire a week later, and the fire department allegedly had put it out, but they didn't. So for some jurors, that's just going to be a bridge too far, a stretch, and they believe he may have did it, but they may say, you know what, I can't vote guilty on reasonable doubt. So what is going to happen now, we believe, where the lawyers will probably come out, they'll talk about the case, and it will be up to the U.S. attorney to refile or retry the case. Back to you.
William, just quickly,
Yep.
having followed this case, I mean, you say that this is not unexpected. You know, my response would be 10 jurors saying not guilty. That's a whole lot. And there was that geolocation data. The suspect allegedly misled prosecutors on that. Not only that, I mean, you have the testimony from the Uber driver saying
What's up,
he's
Duck Rat?
agitated. Your thoughts on the case that the prosecution put forward with the limited evidence they have? Do you feel that they made a strong case? What's the sense you got having been in that room and followed the case?
Well, they didn't have the evidence, right? They didn't have any physical evidence. Now, they did have the ATF report that all these national experts came out and they said, you know, they did find the lighter in his glove box. As you said, he was evasive with police, that he acted erratically. I mean, talking to the people.
Well, everybody should have a lighter in their glove box. Everyone should have a lighter in their glove box. What if you get stranded and you need to start a fire to stay warm or something like that? I mean, everybody should have a lighter. That's what, like, everyone should have lighters all over the place. I mean, seriously, you should have always have a bunch of them. You never know when you might have to, seriously, like if you need to cook something, start a fire, if power goes out, if there's some kind of emergency and you don't have anything to light a fire with, you know how screwed you are? I don't understand why they're making a big deal about somebody having a lighter. Wow, felt good getting up, walking to the sink, little heating pad, little stretch, little walk. That makes it feel good. It sure does. A flint, something. You should always have fire starting materials. Seriously. In your house at all times, you know, like match, you know, strike anywhere matches, lighters, something. But making a big deal about, do they have actual evidence that he started the fire? I don't think they have actual evidence that he started the fire. I don't think they do. I think they just have that he was right there when the fire started and he called 911 and all this stuff. Yeah, they can't determine if any particular lighter started a fire. Yeah. I quit smoking a year ago and I have a lighter, years ago, and I have a lighter in every car I own. Yeah, you should always have a lighter. Just for, not for smoking stuff, but for like if you need to start a fire. You never know. It could save your life. It could be, you know, stranded somewhere in the middle of nowhere and your car breaks down and it's freezing and your car won't run anymore. So you have to build yourself a fire to stay warm and survive. Oh, he was around evidence. Yeah, he was around whatever. And they didn't, I don't think they preserved the scene properly to like for an arson investigation.
People who were in the Uber that night. I mean, he was basically, going off the mental deep end, if you will. In fact, he was seeing a shrink at the time, or at least getting some mental health help. So I think the prosecution did the best they could with what they had. And I honestly, listening to it all, I kind of thought, they had nailed him pretty good.
Yeah, he thought they nailed him pretty good. Yeah. If he had a flamethrower or a blowtorch, it would be more concerning. Yeah. If they would have found him with a bunch of the scene burned, didn't it? Yeah, the scene did burn. But generally, if they have like an arson investigator who preserves the scene, they can go and like see exactly where the fire started. Somehow they could figure out where the fire started, find out if there was any accelerant, find out if there was any other things. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jim, you better never be around when something happens in California. That's what it sounds like. You better stay out of California. They'll just say I did something in California. That's what they'll do. That's what they'll do. So, they're trying to pin it on this guy to take pressure off Mayor Bass. Anyone who lives here knows there was a ton of information not introduced. Why did Bass delete her text? Why did she sanitize the fireman's affidavits? Why has she paid millions of dollars in attorney's fees to cover her own butt? Great questions, all still unanswered. Yeah. All right, let's see what CBS says.
Begin with breaking news from downtown LA, where a federal jury has declared a mistrial in the Palisades fire arson.
So she just said a federal jury has declared a mistrial. It wouldn't have been a federal jury. It was a judge. So Gilda Radner, yeah, I like Gilda Radner, withheld that he threatened to burn his sister's house down. Yeah, the judge held that. You're right. The judge did do that. Wouldn't let them find out that he was threatening to burn someone's other place down. Staying out of Cali is always a good idea. Yes, could be. Actually, Gilda's dad. Who's Gilda's dad?
Trial. Jonathan Rinderknecht had been accused of starting a fire that eventually turned into the disaster. CBS LA's Rick Montanez is live outside federal court in downtown LA. And Rick, tell us how this all came about.
Yeah, Rachel, I talked with one of the jurors and an alternate just a few minutes ago. They tell me both of them believe that Rinderknecht is not guilty based on what was presented in court over this 10-day trial. Cameras are not allowed in federal court, but we have some courtroom sketches to show you from this morning's proceedings. And the jurors insisted they were hopelessly deadlocked on this case. Less than 30 minutes into the proceedings this morning, the judge declared that mistrial, which we expected was a possibility out here. So not long after that, we heard from juror number 4. Check this out here. A woman named Serena. She says she feared she would be in the minority with a not guilty vote, but we've since learned she and 9 other jurors felt the same way. She says she doesn't believe Rinderknecht is solely responsible for this fire. So the trial lasted 2 weeks and jurors deliberated for about 13 hours. Rinderknecht was facing several felony arson charges for the Palisades fire that could have resulted in 45 years in federal prison.
Everything I thought they ruled out. So it's like, if I was even leaning towards like, oh, okay, guy, like they would say like, cigarettes count. We did 500 tests. Like what? Like if they would have said that,
like what?
They'd say he smoked. I would have been like, so no. And without the proof and all the doubts, I can't.
So she's just like, without the proof and all the doubts, did she just say, well, he doesn't smoke, so it couldn't have been him? Did she really just fucking say that he doesn't smoke, so it couldn't have been him that started the fire? Because this is the leftist climate change weirdo fucking people like, oh, and smoking is killing everybody and smoking's evil and all the fires start because of smokers. That's literally, she just said, if he doesn't smoke, so it couldn't be him. What the fuck? Rekindled after a week is pretty weak. Yeah, that thing I don't buy. That's the stretch I think where they're at. But they're trying to first get him with starting the first fire, and then they're trying to get it into the other ones. I agree he wasn't solely responsible. Bass and Newscomb take a large part of the blame. Yes, they do. Oh, they caught some arsonists. Yes, definitely. I stayed with a family friend in Woodland Hills. He had to tackle a guy with a torch setting fires at the time. There was all types of people running around doing it. It was crazy. I kept seeing videos of people starting it. Right? They were all illegal aliens, weren't they? I don't know. That's my headcanon. I think they're born mental. They don't catch it. Yeah, I bet she is a true crime fanatic. Yes. Firefighters wanted to say watch for hotspots, but the higher-ups overrode them. Yeah. That's what happened.
Say for sure, like, he's guilty.
Having not secured a scene for almost 2 weeks says a lot. And to pin that on one person, you know.
Why is she smiling all happy? That would that be the way if you thought this was serious and stuff? She's all like, yeah. They try to pin this on one person. Yeah. Wow. They got some really fucking sorry excuses for humans in fucking California and LA. Wow. This whole thing is one shit show of incompetence top to bottom. I'm not, she's smiling for getting on camera. Okay. All right. I don't know. Whenever I see somebody displaying emotions that don't go with the situation, like the seriousness of the situation, always makes me question if they're like honest. I don't know. It's the camera. She's famous now. Okay. That's that stupid gene. All right. Definitely. The streamer I watch in Bakersfield has been seeing fires set all over, easy in the hot weather. Yeah. I thought that's what they do because they're all trying to prove it's climate change.
At the end of the day, we're all human. I realize mistakes are made, but this is a man's life, and we can't ignore that fact.
So now we're learning federal prosecutors are already planning a retrial. Assistant U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley posted this online. The evidence is strong that
How you
Jonathan
doing?
Ritter is responsible for igniting the fire on January 1st, 2025, which eventually became the Palisades fire. We fully intend to retry this case before a new jury and obtain guilty verdicts on all charged counts. So we also asked juror number 4 what she thinks of the possibility of a retrial, and she tells us she thinks it's a waste of government time and resources. We have yet to hear from the defense team in this case today anyway. We've heard from them throughout each process of the trial over the last 10 days. So we're expecting to hear from them soon. And we'll keep you posted on what happens here at the courthouse and what federal prosecutors ultimately decide to do. Reporting live in downtown LA, Rick Montanez.
Rick Montanez. Well, thank you, Rick. So Bass told the fire department not to put out the smoldering areas due to concerns for environmental damage to the smoldering areas. What? Hans says the evidence was a bit weak. Also, how much does the fire department have to blame since they put out fires he started not fully. Yeah, they didn't fully put out the fires. They have some to blame, I think. But if it truly was that fire restarting, it's still on the guy, because just because somebody didn't put it out all the way, he still started the fire, would be on him. But they have to prove he started that first fire, and then they'd have to prove, like, I don't have an opinion on this, honestly. Here, I don't have an opinion on this case. I don't know if the guy did it or not. I haven't seen any evidence. I've heard that he, whatever, but I don't know. It does sound a little weak to me that he started a fire and then they put it out, but they didn't put it out all the way. And a week later, it started up and it spread to this whole other bigger fire. Like, I don't know. This is her 15 minutes of fame. She thinks she's a hero for saying not guilty. More like trying to fulfill Malibu burning. Well, it's quite possible that's what it was. Yeah, you could see some firemen putting out yards instead of homes. What? So, wow, the judge declared a mistrial. That's crazy. But, it happens. We got this story here. A Saudi doctor is sentenced to life in prison for killing 6 in a German Christmas market massacre. Wow. Wowzers. The prosecutors charging him with too much. The fire department didn't dig up the hillside knowing the Santa Anas were coming. Yeah. They picked dummies for juries. That fire was jumping a lot. I think there was other people starting some of them. Yeah. Brett Spiner, Data lost everything. Wow. Data from Star Trek Next Generation. Brett Spiner. Yeah. The first thing I would do is shave this guy's beard off. He doesn't deserve a beard after he killed 6 people. Doc says it's freaking women and their misplaced mothering instincts. On Friday, a Saudi doctor was handed a life sentence for driving a rented BMW into a crowd in a market in Germany the day before Christmas on 2024. The attack left 6 people dead and injured dozens more. I wonder what that means, though, life in prison in Germany, because I know life in prison in England is like 20 years. Is life in prison. Isn't that insane? Life in prison in England is 20 years. Defendant in the case, Talib al-Basmosmin, was a psychiatrist of Saudi origin. And it's a crazy fires, almost like directed by wizards. Yeah. Like that movie with Dustin Hoffman. Is it safe? Is it secret? The incident sent shockwaves across Germany and inflamed the already contentious debate around immigration. You don't say. Coming just months ahead of the general election. Throughout the entire trial, the defendant displayed behavior indicative of a narcissist personality disorder, a diagnosis also confirmed by an expert witness. Oh, so this guy's going to get off on a... You wonder... Yeah, I wonder, did he pay for that extra rental insurance? This means he places himself at the center of everything. He sees only himself and not the suffering of other people. Well. He was charged with 6 counts of murder and attempted murder of many others. Among those killed were 5 women aged 45 to 75 and a boy who was only 9 years old. Wow, man. This guy should just be executed. Like, what are they doing? He killed 6 people. According to prosecutors, the perpetrator appears to have been driven by grievances stemming from an unsuccessful civil legal dispute and repeated failures with various criminal complaints, and is believed to have carried out the attack without any accomplices. The average time served is approximately 19.9 years, though records show inmates serving up to 59, e.g. Hans-Jörg Newman, released in 2021. Well, that's probably because he was like a Yahtzee, right? So Al Abu Mohsin ran through barriers surrounding the market and was then taken into custody. He was a doctor at the Madberg Clinic. Police closed the market after the incident, and eyewitnesses said there was many children as well as families at the market that night. Upsetting. So we got this story. Russian hawks. All right. The Russian hawks, which are people in Russia that are hawks, are urging Putin to escalate the war and drop U.S. talks as Ukraine strikes deep inside of Russia. Amidst escalating Ukrainian drone attacks, Russia hardliners are pressuring President Putin to abandon diplomacy and instead intensify the conflict. Narcissism doesn't absolve you of responsibility. You know your actions, but lack empathy. Okay. There was testimony the fire department was not allowed to put the first fire completely out. Okay. So calls for drastic measures, including nuclear weapons use and targeting European drone factories, have grown louder. While the Kremlin has resisted these extreme demands, recent strikes have heightened tension and fueled the debate on Russia's defense strategy. Seething over Ukrainian drone strikes and angered by what they see as a failed U.S. promise to broker an end to the war on favorable terms, Russian hardliners are urging President Vladimir Putin to abandon the diplomacy and escalate. What happens if they start nuking Ukraine? I mean, someone going to do something about it? I mean, what are they going to do except for go, damn, that sucks. I mean, we're not going to launch nukes at Russia over them nuking Ukraine, because that would mean the U.S. would get nuked by Russia. So that's the way I look at it. I don't know. I mean, they could do that, and basically they would just be like pariah. Russia would get nuked by who? I mean, you do realize, Hank, if we launched any nukes at Russia, or any country did, then Russia's going to launch them at them. It's end of the world times. So we're going to end the world over Ukraine? Renee Collins, thank you. Love your coverage. Thank you so much, Renee. That means, folks, that we are...
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much for the 34. That means, folks, we are now $100 away from a second additional hour to the show. Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about this Russia, Ukraine, U.S. nuke stuff because it's very interesting. Thank you so much. Love your coverage. Thank you, Renee. We have another hour. Thank you. Russia has tactical nukes. Yeah, they do. Russia does have small tactical nukes. They could take out, Kiev. Boom. What I'm saying is that if any other country launched nukes at Russia, Russia has the most nuclear missiles of any country. They have more than the U.S. So they have the largest stockpile. I think Russia's stockpile is actually larger than the U.S. combined with the U.K., combined with France. And, I don't see any other country wanting to get nuked by Russia because it doesn't matter. You can drop a nuke on Russia, they're nuking you back. And so then it's back, forth. That's where we're at. Putin's forever war is going to backfire on him. It's possible. Will, possible it won't. Possible it will backfire on the whole world. You've been wondering why they don't just flatten Kiev? Because I don't think they wanted to. You know what I mean? I think they wanted, they fought this war differently than they have any other war over the past 200 years. You know what I mean? Normally, they just destroy everything all the way through. They just don't leave. They just basically do like, what's it called? Like, seek and destroy missions, or like just burn everything. Like they leave nothing behind. Denial of everything. Yes, thank you for generously supporting Jim Tells You. Yes, thank you. American First says, we won't nuke Russia over Ukraine. Well, I sure hope not. That'd be insane. Thank you for the win. Yes, thank you for the win. Another win for the Jim. Captain says, thank you. Other countries have some of Russia's nuclear suitcases, like 120 or so. Ukraine probably has a few. Well, that would be interesting. Hey, what's up, Dusky? Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Who in this chat wants to die for Ukraine? Not me. Hank says, yeah, but we can nuke Russia, China, and Iran and North Korea without leaving San Diego. Okay. My throat is on fire. Wow. Oh. My throat. Hold on. So, calls for tougher measures are not new. Nationalist voices have long pressed for full mobilization, destruction of Kiev's government quarter, the assassination of Zelensky, and strikes on European drone factories. Joe says, I don't want to die for the U.S. Who was it that said I let the other side die for his country? Heavy paraphrase. Yeah. Defend Ukraine at all costs, not me. Yeah. Well, they just wanted a southern port, but no. W-76 warhead used on a Triton II is a two-stage hydrogen bomb as our most modern nuclear weapons. The detonation of a relatively low-yield implosion fission device, the primary, creates an intense burst of X-rays, which drives the implosion of a much higher yield fusion device. Secondary. Okay. The way to nuke Russia is clandestinely make it look like their own nukes went off. Yeah. But Ukraine's deep strikes this month targeting Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Crimea, as well as what Russia said were two deadly attacks on passenger buses, have intensified those demands. Analysts say increasingly strident rhetoric reflects growing unease over the reach and impact of the Ukrainian drone attacks. Why does it keep popping up? And a broader debate about how Russia, with its vast territory, can defend itself while still pursuing war aims in a conflict it launched in 2022. What else needs to happen before we start fighting for real? Those are good questions. War means victory at any cost. The Ukrainians are at war, so they're fighting with everything they've got. After a strike that hit, that's what a tycoon, Konstantin Melevic, said. Why are we not using nuclear weapons, which our forebears developed and stockpiled with the full might of the nation precisely for this purpose? America First says, if Ukraine escalates on Russia, what do we expect Russia to do? They are undetectable due to acoustic quieting and can aim at targets 7,000 miles away. Hitting Moscow is not exactly a defensive move. When the USSR dissolved, Ukraine had plenty of nukes to defend itself. They got screwed when a deal was made for them to get rid of them in exchange for protection. I still don't want to fight for them. Ukraine needs their elections back to get rid of Z. Some nationalists have urged Moscow to adopt what they cast as Iran's effective military and diplomatic tactics against the United States. Okay. The start of systematic airstrikes on Moscow by Ukrainian junta would have been impossible without the go-ahead from Washington. And why did Trump give Zelensky such a green light? The answer is simple. Iran had Trump by the balls, and he was forced to sign a humiliating agreement. Oh, wow. That's what the Russians are saying. Yep, Putin won't just take it. That's right. Now he needs to take it out on someone quickly. So we've got no choice. Either we get the better of Trump or he'll get the better of us. Such statements can still complicate decision-making by inflaming public sentiment, even as Moscow still wants to keep the door open for a diplomatic solution. They can carry like 90 MIRVs, like 14 bombs on each, and hit 7,000 miles away and stay under for 20 years. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Talking about submarines. Putin's also avoided endorsing the nationalist most extreme proposals, although the defense ministry pointedly published the addresses of factories in several European cities it's alleged to make drones for Ukraine. I mean, they know where the drones are coming from. Why is this so? Heavy bombing runs followed, including one in which a 1,000-year-old monastery in Kiev was damaged. Oh, well. They want to restore normal relations with us to stop this endless drive for strategic defeat of Russia are on the rise. Yeah, so. Yep, that's that. All right. I'm sorry. My throat is bothering me. I'm going to restart the goal for another hour now on YouTube. Thanks to everyone who donated, and the goal is live. Trains are on Putin's side. Okay, no one can start Armageddon except Father, and he already wrote how that goes, and it isn't man's doing. If World War III breaks out over Russia, Putin will use nukes. Yeah, probably. We should stay away from nukes unless we want to start Armageddon. That'll be a little hard to make it look like their own nukes went off. The real thing would be to actually make Russia's nukes go off. Yep. Oh, and then here we're going to get this from, why not drop nukes? Hardliners call on Putin to abandon diplomacy. I don't know, man. I mean, the hardliners are calling on Putin to abandon diplomacy. So we saw all that. All right. And then, well, real quick, we're going to do like a quick breakdown of those Supreme Court cases. I didn't really talk about any of the cases because they were covered by everybody, but this is like basically a quick synopsis. All right. Of the cases. Trump refugees and the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on Thursday expanded President Trump's power over immigration. I don't really think he expanded the power over immigration. They just clarified what was supposed to be going on. Justices say no judicial review in the law means what it says. Or so the press proclaims. The White House no doubt wishes that there were true, but the 6 conservatives merely ruled that judges can't usurp power Congress delegated to the president. That's right. That's exactly what they said. All this other stuff is baloney. So, and at issue in Mullen v. Doe was Trump's termination of TPS. TPS means temporary, and temporary doesn't mean forever. Foreigners are protected from removal, Cameron Eve work authorizations. Trump says Democrat presidents abused the program and providing de facto permanent legal status, which is true. Trump's team sought to end it. Cue the onslaught of lawsuits. Those legal challenges should be open and shut since TPS says there's no judicial review. But some judges have ignored the law and blocked the administration's termination based on procedural quibbles. One court ruled DHS Secretary inadequately consulted the State Department. No. It was Haitian saying it was out of racial animus, which it wasn't. Haitian is not a race. So, Justice Alito writes that poverty, deprivation are no reflection of character, and there's no justification for denigrating the character of Haitians who suffer from and bear no responsibility for their country's ills. Haitians fought at the Battle of Savannah to support American independence and have made positive contributions to the United States. Of course, the demon rats on the court said that evidence is plain to see that the president's a racist. One may oppose TPS and favor tighter restrictions on immigration for economic or other reasons that have nothing to do with race. Whatever one may think, the president cited statements, they are insufficient to show the termination was based on race. Yeah. Nukes are the last resort, but if Russia thinks they're going to lose, they'll use them. Yeah. Jim, you raised that the Haitians have been here only 16 years. That's temporary. So what if their babies are now in high school? I don't think those babies should be American citizens because they were here temporarily. Just saying. We oppose Mr. Trump's move to remove immigrants. Oh, really? Well, their target should be Mr. Trump. The job of judges is to interpret the law, not impose their policy preferences. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Supreme Court issues major ruling on weed killer, guns, immigration, key takeaways. Okay. Immigration enforcement. Hawaii's okay. We'll skip over the immigration stuff. Oh, wait, no. I'll raise. All right. So the Supreme Court issued a series of decisions on June 25th with far-reaching impact on President Trump's immigration policies, the Second Amendment, and agribusiness Monsanto. Wouldn't the Haitians that fought at Savannah be the ones who the current Haitians killed? Yes, this would be true. I wonder what those Haitians looked like. They were probably the ones running the country at the time. Just saying. Trump's immigration enforcement agenda got a boost. when the Supreme Court ruled lower courts were barred from reviewing decisions to remove deportation protections from certain nationals. In another case, the Supreme Court gave Trump and future presidents greater flexibility in restricting asylum seekers' attempts to cross the border. Yeah, you don't have to let them in. Hawaii's gun control policy also lost in court, as a justice said the law violated the Second Amendment. That's right. No dual citizenship. How about that? Definitely. The decision continued the court's emphasis on comparing gun control policies to historical laws in deciding these cases. I feel the Haitians need to go yesterday. I think SCOTUS is coming back 5-4 for the good guys in a birthright decision. Maybe. Finally, Monsanto won some legal protections against future lawsuits over its weed killer Roundup and allegations that it causes cancer. During his second term, Trump removed deportation protections known as TPS from nationals from countries around the world. I think they basically overturned every TPS. That Monsanto ruling was, well, probably right, but the EPA, I don't know. Courts have limited power to review, no power to review, I would say, decisions to revoke those protections. Not limited, but none. That's what the Supreme Court ruled. They have none. All 13 TPS that have come up for renewal. Yeah, they've canceled them all, Andy. That's what I'm saying. So how could they say it was racial? They just canceled them all. Have we all forgotten what Monsanto is? It's a evil company that poisons us. I know that. I hope you're right. I take that the decision didn't leak like Roe is a bad sign for Supremes doing the right thing. Again, would love to be wrong. It might not have leaked because everybody's paying attention and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Comes down to reality that SCOTUS doesn't want to go down in history for the destruction of America. It still might, though. Yeah, decision in Mo greenlit the Trump administration removal of status for Haitians and Syrians. It likely paves the way for any protection for other nationalities. Well, yeah. Monsanto was tried to genetically engineer the food supply so they would have a monopoly. Oh, yeah, that's right. They did stuff with seeds, right? However, Justice Alito's opinion left room for some judges to scrutinize and potentially reject removals of temporary status. Judges could rule on arguments over whether revocations violated the Constitution. I don't think so. I don't think that's what he said. I don't think that's what he said. A federal judge had ruled the Haitians case decision to remove their status was motivated by race, violated the Constitution. The majority of the court disagreed with that argument on June 25th. Yeah. Hawaii's gun restrictions violated the Second Amendment. Yeah. Made the fruit of their seeds never produce a fruit. Yeah. The low bar, the court ruled 6-3 that Hawaii's law restricting residents from carrying concealed weapons in stores and hotels violated the Constitution. Kind of crazy. American is not a birthright title. Citizen is. They have parents of vegetables and fruits and have won lawsuits and such. Oh. The law barred handguns from privately owned public places such as gas stations and shopping malls without the owner's permission. It's not up to them to do that. The owner gets to make that decision. Justice Alito said the state law cannot stand because the Second Amendment has the same meaning in all parts of the United States. That's right. They said you're aloha. Yeah. Hawaii law hobbles the Second Amendment, inconveniencing lawful gun owners by forcing them to avoid all the territory where the possession of a gun is prohibited outright, but they may also be barred from entering many places that people routinely visit in the course of their daily routines. Of course, Ketanji Brown Jackson said that, this regulates the carrying is presumptively unconstitutional. Well, judges are now free to insert any meaning or desire into the Second Amendment. I mean, what if it was the First Amendment? What if they said nobody could speak, that you can't speak in any establishment, any of these same places, like a gas station, unless the owner has specifically given you permission to speak? It's the same thing. That would be the same exact laws. They're talking about the First Amendment or the Second Amendment. So in the Monsanto case about the weed killer, Supreme Court issued a decision that's suspected to help the agribusiness avoid liability and future complaints. A Missouri man named John Durnell had sued, alleging the company failed to warn about the reported cancer risks from exposure to glyphosate. This stuff is bad. An ingredient in Roundup. He won a $1.25 million verdict in state court, but the Supreme Court rejected that decision on June 25th in a 7-2 decision. The justice said the verdict rested on a faulty interpretation of state and federal law. They invoked a doctrine known as preemption, which holds that federal law prevails over state law when the two conflict. Writing for the majority, Justice Kavanaugh said Durnell's case rested on the idea that states could go beyond warning requirements already imposed by the federal government. He pointed to how the EPA had repeatedly declined to require additional warnings for glyphosate. In a dissent, Jackson denied there was a conflict between the state law and the relevant federal law. The Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act empowering the EPA to regulate the chemical. What? Where does she come up with this? There's not a difference between the law. Authorities can turn away asylum seekers at the border. This is another one. So, and Mullen v. AI Altrolado, the Supreme Court said a federal law allowing immigration enforcement to turn away asylum seekers at the border. The decision was based on INA, which provides that a migrant who arrives at the United States may apply for an asylum. Another section states that migrants who arrive should be inspected by an immigration officer who's expected to refer them for asylum if they intend to apply. In the decision, the court clarified that a migrant arrived only if they crossed the border. An alien standing in Mexico does not arrive in the United States by attempting and failing to set foot in this country. This is a good ruling, because then they can just be like, what? No, you can't come in, but I want to apply for asylum. Okay, go over there and apply. But they can't apply until they come into the country. See? So they can't apply. Justice Sotomayor joined Kagan and Jackson. Dissent says the majority had an illogical interpretation that any non-citizen arriving at our doorstep and seeking admission must be inspected and allowed to apply for asylum. Then she said that more people will die. So she wants anybody who just shows up to the border and says, I want to claim asylum. It's like, you're in. Why would anyone need to claim asylum in the United States? They're in Mexico. They can claim asylum in Mexico. This is a bullshit what they're doing. More significant decisions are expected to be released next week. It has yet to rule on multiple cases, including his attempt to restrict who's eligible for birthright citizenship. No. To clarify the correct answer about birthright citizenship, known as Trump v. Barbara, could prompt the Supreme Court to issue a landmark ruling on the meaning of the 14th Amendment. Two other Trump-related cases are expected to determine how much flexibility presidents have in firing federal officials. They have all the flexibility. Nobody can work in the executive branch without the president's permission. He is the executive branch. Everything flows through him, of him. He does not have to let anybody wield his power that he doesn't want to. The first, Trump v. Slaughter, could result in the Supreme Court overturning a nearly century-old precedent that allowed Congress to place restrictions on the president's ability to fire members of so-called independent agencies, because there is no such thing as an independent agency. We have three branches of government. That's it. Three branches. Legislative, judicial, and the president, executive branch. That's it. That's the only three. There's no others. They can't create something that exists outside of government. So it has to be part of one of those three branches. That's just the way it is, unless somebody's going to change the Constitution. Another case questioned whether Trump had properly fired Lisa D. Crook. Crook challenged the basis on another law Congress passed that governors like her can only occur for cause. Well, they had cause that she was fired. She was a thief, a fraudster. Yes, the executive branch is one person, the only person in America elected nationally. That's right. That's right. The outcome of this case appeared less certain, as the Supreme Court indicated last year. It's viewed the Federal Reserve as deserving more protection than other agencies. I don't see why. I really don't. The Supreme Court's also expected to rule on whether states can bar boys from competing in female sports. Yeah, I think they can. I think they can. Okay. All right. Now let's check this out. Run, hide, fight. Infidels official trailer. Oh, I can't play it. I can't play a trailer. I don't think.
Warning in Northern Virginia. Radical Islam has designs openly on the West.
Well, I don't think I could play. I don't know if I could play this. I think this is going to get me. What's to say? Gateway punt at Florida tattoo shop sparks back and backlash. Oh, I seen that one. That they don't want any military. Is that the one? No military. No military. No military. No soldiers. I think that was the one. I don't know. Let's see.
The FBI thwarted a terror plot on New Year's Eve. Violent attack over the Halloween weekend in Michigan.
Protests on college campuses showing no signs of stopping.
Wait a minute, why is this flag flying over Lawton University? What is going on? They took over a school? Coming soon. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Michigan. Is that really Lawton, Michigan? They put the flag up like that? I thought it was Minneapolis. Someone get that dog on the speaker some help. Wow. Check that out. Okay. This is the most beautiful sound Obama ever heard. Morning prayer to call. Is that what he said? Probably. Probably did. He's a scum. Scumbaggity dude. Well, outrageous. Popular historic voter petition candidate John Strand gets shut out of debate stage in Florida's 19th congressional race. John Strand had the whole government thrown against him. I don't know. I never heard of this guy. With a crowded Republican primary underway in Florida's 19th congressional district, a popular ballot qualified candidate said he's been denied the opportunity to make his case to Republican voters. I mean, he's got to have a certain number of you can't just let everybody in a debate. Deport these people, nationalized or not. I agree. So John Strand is criticizing organizers of the Florida GOP state convention debate after learning he will not appear on the debate stage despite qualifying for the ballot and running an active campaign. Whatever. According to the Department of Elections, he became the first congressional candidate in the history of Florida's 19th district to qualify the ballot entirely through voter petitions. collecting nearly 4,000 signatures rather than relying on traditional qualifying fee. The campaign argues that accomplishment demonstrates a level of grassroots support deserving a place on any debate stage. I'm confused by this. Exclusion comes as the race remains fluid, with multiple candidates competing in a wide open primary and a significant share of Republican voters still undecided. Strand supporters argue that debates are intended to help voters evaluate candidates, narrow their choices. Is this a paid article? It seems like it's a paid article, doesn't it? It does. It seems like it's Gateway Pundit. It sure seems like it's a paid article. Campaign also points to a growing list of endorsements from prominent figures, including Turning Point USA, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, Congressman Bob McEwen, Freedom Caucus members, Southwest Florida businessman Alfie Oakes. Those endorsements combined with the campaign more than 120,000 raised is being cited as a strong evidence Strand is building an incredible campaign. Controversies also reignited about a role political parties should play in deciding who gets a platform during contested primaries. Supposed to be pretender. Okay. Got to go. Oh, Kofi. All right. Take care, buddy. Nice seeing you. Thanks for stopping by. So conservative activist Charlie Kirk had previously praised Strand's commitment to constitutional principles and individual liberty, reflecting Charlie's been dead almost a year now, isn't he? I mean, I think. It was last year, wasn't it? 2025 he was killed? So why bring that up? Whatever, he talked about him over, 2 years ago. So now it's like, oh, that's what people say. Charlie Kirk once said I was a nice guy, so vote for me. I don't know. Am I being a dick tonight? I kind of feel like I am. The campaign frequently points to Strand's legal battle spending from his involvement in events of January 6th as evidence he has firsthand experience as what it describes as the federal government's aggressive use of prosecutorial powers. I just don't know who this guy is. I'm sorry. A big one? Yeah. September 10th. So, yeah, it's coming up on a year. Whether voters agree with that characterization or not, Strand supporters argue experience has shaped the focus of civil liberties. This debate dispute raises a broader question that extends beyond a congressional race. Debates have traditionally served as forums. Yeah, but you got to qualify. You have to be polling at a certain number before they let you on debate stages. Seems like a campaign ad, kind of, right? Sounds on point. Whether party officials revisit the decision remains to be seen, but the controversy has already generated questions. It sounds like they're putting this article out to help this guy. J6 prisoner describes being tortured to the Gateway Pundit. I don't know. So, and then we kind of talked about this the other day. Dallas rolls out an $18.5 million incentive package to lure Morgan Stanley away from Dummies, New York City. Joe says, sorry, I can't get into this World Cup stuff. A game that lasts 96 minutes ends at 1-0. Come on, man. Come on, man. So Dallas is going to be the Dallas wants to overtake New York as a financial hub of America. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they can do it. Maybe. Yes. Help keep America strong. Deport an American in name only today. So days after Commies endorsed communist swept primary races, New York City's future looks dim. Dallas approves an $18.5 million incentive package to persuade Morgan Stanley to build a $1.3 billion campus in Texas. I think I read some other companies too, like Chase. I think Chase and a couple other ones were also going there. Like other big ones. I think there's 3 or 4 big ones. Yeah, so they voted 15-0 to approve a grant to convince Wall Street firm to choose Dallas over a competing proposal in Alpharetta, Georgia. Be happy not all 25 president candidates were on a stage. Yes. Snake Eater, thanks for coming back. It's always great to have you here. Rocking us out with Jim in the late nights on Friday night, bringing you all the hits. Dusky Dawn, great to see you too. Hit that like button. That's right. If Morgan Stanley moves forward, the bank would lease 255,000 square feet and then build a 708,000 square foot office tower. That's cool. We got this, a wild hundreds of pounds of fireworks explode, destroying homes and injuring firefighters. This is crazy. Never vote for any of them 25 that were on stage running against Trump after voting to impeach him. Yes. True. The explosion was likely caused by someone smoking too close to a stored firework. Well, smoking is bad, okay? Smoking's bad, okay? Is this supposed to be a video? Okay. Let's see. Is this someone going to talk about it? Massive fireworks explosion destroys several homes. I don't know. If this is not about this video, this story, I'm going to be mad. Really mad.
You can see the destruction that these explosions caused to this quiet neighborhood. I spoke to one person who tells me because of this fire, they can't return home.
Oh, wow. Well,
They're kind of like
hold on. I want to see that again.
a little ticking time bomb that you're not sure when they're going to.
You can see the destruction that these explosions caused to this quiet neighborhood. I spoke to one person who tells me because of this fire, they can't return home.
They're kind of like a little ticking time bomb that you're not sure when they're going to go off.
They were actually exploding and shooting everywhere.
In total, investigators believe 5 people were hurt in an explosion Wednesday afternoon at a home near Lagoon Point. Chief Jerry Helm tells me 3 firefighters were injured and 2 other people were hurt in the fire.
Right now, what we know is potential smoking around the fireworks caused the fireworks to go off and explode, and that's what caused the fire.
So you're saying someone was smoking next to fireworks, and that was a lot of it?
That's what we've been told.
It's sad to see, somebody so, I don't know, immature that they don't think of other people, and to see how much damage is done is really heartbreaking.
Tanya Hernandez tells me she came home to take care of her dogs and instead saw this.
Our main concern was to get the dogs out of the house. Everything else is replaceable, but not my animals.
She was able to save her 5 dogs and her pet bird, but now her family's future is unknown.
Last night we spent the night in the truck. Yeah, with me and this 16-year-old. We stayed in the truck. Tonight we're working on where we're gonna go.
The sheriff tells me that this fire is still under investigation, and at this point, no one has been arrested. Reporting on Whidbey Island, AJ Janavel, Fox 13 News.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a crazy story. That's a crazy story. Wow. Although I have to say 100 pounds of fireworks, hey, let's get 100 pounds of fireworks and put them in a house. Yeah, you shouldn't have them in a house, but, blast, not just a fire. Yeah, it looked to me like it was before that big blast, it looked like there was a fire going already. So I don't know. I mean, yeah. Smoking's not a good, brilliance. So unlike all fireworks sales folks I've encountered. Yes. So hundreds of pounds of fireworks explode. I mean, hundreds of pounds. 100 pounds of fireworks ain't that much fireworks if you get nice cakes and stuff and mortars and, cool, all the cool stuff that goes up and makes pretty things. A massive explosion of hundreds of pounds. Fireworks this week rocked an island community of Western Washington, destroying several homes and injuring 5 people, including 3 firefighters. It's the lack of thought that counts. Yes. It's really bad in LA County. They have all illegal bombs from Mexico. Yeah. You can get a lot of good stuff in Mexico, I don't know, fun stuff that they have in old Mexico. The dogs started to fire. Yeah, they probably, because dogs hate fireworks. So the dogs probably were like, we'll show you. The fire was likely caused by someone smoking too close to where they stored fireworks were kept in the home. They're kind of like a little ticking time bomb, and you're not sure when they're going to go off. What are they talking about? A ticking time bomb? Yeah, 200 pounds of fireworks is about $1,000 worth. It depends, yeah, but I mean, it depends on what you're getting. I mean, you could get like firecrackers. You could get 100 pounds of firecrackers, like bricks of firecrackers, wouldn't be $1,000. Just saying. Firefighters were injured in the explosion, and after they responded to a call of a house fire. 2 of the firefighters are now recovering at a home, and a third is expected to leave the hospital soon. 2 civilians took themselves to the hospital before first responders could evaluate them. The sheriff's office said it will determine after the investigation if any criminal charges are warranted. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is also investigating. Honolulu fireworks accident kills 3, injures over 20. Worst possible war zone injuries. War zone injuries. Wow, that's crazy. The dog was smoking in bed. Yeah, and they were playing, but those dogs were playing poker all night, and one of them fire more. Oh, okay. Wow. I do want to see this story. I'll move it over here. So the first house was destroyed along with the neighboring one that caught fire, and a third home was damaged in a blast. It's sad to see somebody so mature and do this stuff. I mean, that's a pretty good boom. They were able to save their dogs. Our main concern was to get the dogs out. She said she slept in her truck that night. She wasn't sure what she was going to do. All right. And then we got this one. Says, semi-truck driver flees after fiery collision with freight train in Atlanta. Trucking company is linked to 12 crashes. Wow. Someone was planning a kick-ass America 250 with 500 pounds. Well, maybe they had 250 pounds, 1 pound for every year, maybe. Turn off the pilot lights with the gas running in a house full of fireworks. Not a good plan. Not a good plan. A semi-truck driver fled the scene of a horrific accident after the tractor trailer he was operating collided with a freight train southwest Atlanta. A huge fireball erupted as a freight train and semi-truck collided. Hundreds of Amazon packages were scattered all over the train tracks. Wow. The unidentified driver escaped on foot. Witnesses saw him limping away. So this is crazy. This is crazy.
How old were you when you found out that this blue liquid makes fat come out in your pee within 24 hours? And better yet, the government is sending...
This is an automatic...
I want to see this crash and everything. There's music playing. I don't know why. Why was someone record? Why was somebody recording this? Look at the angle. Is this has got to be? Oh, this has got to be like a. You think this is like a road cam type of thing? I think this has got to be like a street light cam or something. Because look at the semis coming right at it. It's filming this. Is the guy stopped on the tracks? And look at that fiery crash. Boom. The train just keeps on moving. Train keeps moving. Well, according to Channel 2 Action News, the Illinois-based trucking company whose truck was involved is linked to 12 other crashes. Wow. Investigators finally located the driver a day later. He reportedly fled to a member's home. The driver has not been charged with any crimes yet. That doesn't make any sense. He fled the scene of an accident. He should be charged with that. Channel 2's uncovered the Yeah, so investigators say southbound CSX train struck the tractor trailer, dragging it hundreds of feet before coming to a stop. The collision left the truck destroyed and scattered hundreds of packages across the tracks. The driver initially could not be located, prompting questions. I don't see how he could just get out of there. I don't see it. Channel 2's Michael Seaton later spoke by phone to a man who identified himself as the owner of MGM Worldwide Logistics. He said the driver was in shock, walked to a relative's home, and later turned himself in. TikTok adds music to Ding channels. Figured as much. Yeah, we have log trucks playing chicken with CXX fairly regularly. That's crazy. That's just crazy. And President Trump savages John Bolton after the guilty plea. Uh-oh. Is there a video of him? Or is it nothing? Just no video? No, okay. I wanted to hear him savage him, like actually say it. So President Trump savaged Bolton after the National Security Advisor pleaded guilty on Friday to a felony count of unlawfully retaining national defense information. Plea made in federal court in Greenbelt, Maryland, before District Judge Theodore Chuang. The judge set his sentencing hearing for October 28th. Why so far away? That's 4 months away. So Bolton had faced an 18-count indictment. Bolton serves as so John Bolton, a very dumb, unbalanced, and unskilled former rep of the United States, just pleaded guilty. He's a terrible person, a lunatic who only wanted to start trouble and wars, and who was a needless pusher of death and destruction wherever he went. Hopefully, he will be dealt with harshly. President Trump said, well, "That's good." FBI agents were sent to Bolton's home because he sent highly sensitive classified materials to family members from a private unsecured email server. Oh, just like Clinton's did. Trump said Bolton sucks, but he's going to still pardon him. Is that what he said? He sucks, but he's still going to pardon him? Oh. I wouldn't be announcing that now. So, well. Honolulu fireworks accident kills 3, injures over 20, worst possible. So this was last year. All right. I didn't know this was a year ago. He didn't say that. Okay. All right. No. Florida tattoo shop sparks massive backlash after revealing why it refuses to serve active duty military members and veterans. Yeah, because they hate America. Hey, what's up, Jen? How you doing? Great to see you. Conspiracy, what's up? So, yeah. A Florida tattoo shop sparked massive uproar after revealing it flat out refusing to serve heroes who have served, continues to serve our nation. As Fox News reports, the Tattoo Collective explained to Americans in a Facebook post, well, it will not serve active duty military members. People are all in their feelings because I expressed my opinion of the military and law enforcement. My opinion is that the military is a bunch of war criminals and law enforcement kills babies and unarmed civilians in the streets. If you don't like my opinion, cool, but you're not going to change it. Call me short, post records from 20 years ago, threaten the health department, use homophobic slurs. Also, the guy's clearly a gay because he's saying homophobic slurs. So it's DK-spiracy, not Dick-spiracy. Oh, okay, sorry. Once again, for slow ones, it's pretty simple. If you're ex-military or currently serving, just don't come to the shop. You'll be turned away. The post replies to social media were quite devastating, as one would expect. Oh. So, yeah. Well. Response, spokesperson said the following thing to Fox News. Yeah, I'm booked up. I can't take any clients, military or civilian. Thanks for your interest in my opinion. So, Revival Tattoo Collective was founded by Brandy Martinson. He described it on his name is Brandy. So what is he? He's a tattooist and sign painter. He treats every word as architecture. Now he'll be known for being the founder of a tattoo shop that spits on our men and women in uniform. At last check, there are plenty of veterans who get tattoos and can find shops across the country. Martinson might also be in legal trouble given that he's actively discriminating against a group of individuals out of sheer hatred. I don't know. I don't know if You should wait till you're 65 to get tattoos so they don't start sagging. Yeah. Well, the guy sounds like a real scum biggity bag. That one. Say, commie New York City mayor thinks he can stop President Trump's deportation powers and vows to shield illegal aliens after SCOTUS hands a victory. This is just crazy. Just go arrest this guy already. Just freaking arrest him already. I don't get it. I don't get why he hasn't been arrested. Should have been, his citizenship should have been revoked. He should have been fucking deported. Exactly like Mike Davis says, let's get this straight. The foreign-born leader of our nation's largest city. Wow. Elected largely by foreign-born non-citizens, states he is going to stop federal law enforcement from enforcing federal law. Even after the Supreme Court ruling, this is seditious conspiracy and insurrection. So here's man dummy, the commie.
We saw today the Supreme Court make a decision that is putting so many people's lives in jeopardy. And I just came back from a rally with 1199 as I stood alongside a number of Haitian New Yorkers who are concerned about what this means for their status in our city. And frankly, this city, the one that we love, is one that has been built by so many from so many different parts of the world. And that includes our Haitian brothers and sisters, our Syrian brothers and sisters. And we stand here ready to be in solidarity with all of those who are concerned by today's decision. And beyond just language of solidarity, actions of solidarity. Now, what that means when it comes to our city is if you are worried about what this means for your status, if you're worried about what this means for your family, I would encourage you to call our Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs hotline. And you can do so at 1-800-354-0365. Again, that's 1-800-354-0365. Now, many of you know this is a city of 8.5 million people. More than 3 million of us were born elsewhere. I'm one of them.
Yeah,
We're a city that's proud of our immigrant heritage. And when we think about especially what Haitian New Yorkers have had to deal with, not just for weeks or months or years, but frankly for decades, we have seen a cruelty that has become normalized. And to have people who frankly taught the world about freedom have their own freedom be put in jeopardy by the actions of a Supreme Court and a federal administration, it is not only cruel, it's something that we will not ever accept. And so we stand here as New Yorkers proud of standing in solidarity and proud to do everything that we can to keep people in their homes and to keep people together.
Okay, he needs to be arrested. Arrest him. Immediately arrest him. Yeah, get out. Yeah, go back. They could be free, just not here. I thought that was that idiot commie. Yeah. Correct. Let's take his citizenship and let him practice socialism in Uganda. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I guess. Hey, Mark. Great to see you, Mark. I thought back in the Vietnamese War, tattoos were prohibited because it was defacing government property. That's what they say. You have to get a chit to get one, you know, a chit signed. They aren't even American. Yeah, that's right. Leave now. It's okay. That's right. Tell them to go. So video statement, he says that he's going to stand in solidarity and do everything they can to keep them here in their homes. Yeah. New York City just implemented a 2-year rent freeze. Yeah, they're never going to learn. You know what? Go vote for insanity. You're going to get more of it. So yeah. So Mandami, the communist, who repeatedly calls to abolish ICE and turn New York into an even deeper sanctuary city, says, yeah, we saw today the Supreme Court make this decision. Fuck you, dude. Oh, I didn't know that was going to be there. Sorry. So yeah, fuck him. Fuck them. Fuck them all. They got to go. I agree. You could be a citizen, but still not American. Yeah, I agree. Rent freezing means the owners make no money to make repairs. Yeah, and then that's their plan. The owners make no money to make repairs, and then the city comes in and says, we're going to seize it from you and turn it into government property because Uh-huh. Well, I can't play that. I can't pull that up. It's telling me I have to sign up as a member. So he's literally calling for a revolution. Yeah, that's what they want. That's what the DSA wants, a revolution. That's what the DSA wants, a revolution. That's what the DSA wants, a revolution. But they saw, come on. We got a massive scandal unfolding in Denver. You'll want to read it to the end. Absolutely shocking corruption and a cover-up. Denver City Council blocked the Denver International Airport from leasing space to Key Lime Air because the airline worked with ICE. We have no mortgage, yet we have to save more money each year to pay our taxes. How can they freeze rents and not taxes on the building? Yeah. Rent freeze all you want. Landlords should say you freeze rent, you must freeze property taxes too. That's what they should do. They should file a lawsuit saying, yeah, they keep raising our property taxes, but they won't increase our rents. Those that don't love this country aren't American. Yes, I agree. Get them out. Oh, I forgot to say our oil update for today. It closed out. It's at 70.24. But I was watching earlier today, and it was down at 60, like right here at like 11 o'clock this morning. It was at 68.66. So it's been trading lower and lower. You know, it's down $1.68 today. So hopefully it'll keep moving down. Down. Let it go down. The rent freeze is employed to try to force owners into default so the city can take over the buildings. Yeah, it's a typical commie play. Yeah, it is. The Communism Act of 1954 is still in effect. They need to be enforcing it. That's right. Jim, didn't DeSantis sign a property tax law today? I think we still have to vote on it, though, don't we, Joe? Don't we still have to vote on it? Like it has to be approved by 60% or something to go into the Constitution, something like that. Thanks for reminding me now how my oil stock is worthless. Sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Anyway, back to this. So there was just one problem. It violates the rules. City attorneys urged the airport to fabricate an investigation into airline safety record to cover up for illegal discrimination. Yeah, because there was like $90 million in grants and stuff to go to that. Oh, to go on the ballot. Oh, I hope so. Yeah. ABC had an article yesterday about gas station price gouging. Yeah, Trump's told the DOJ to look into it because they're like oil prices have gone down so far that gas prices should be declining a lot faster. So city officials conspired to discriminate against a private company for political reasons and lied about it. Yeah, scumbags, all of them, all the way around. I think. Let's see. So, internal Denver airport memo obtained by CBS appears to corroborate key details of a closed-door meeting that city officials have been publicly disputing. That's what I'm talking about. The memo written days after January 6th meeting. January 6th. It all comes back to January 6th. Among city and airport officials documents conversation at the center of a federal lawsuit. The lawsuit accuses city attorney of pushing airport officials. Yes.
The city attorney said they were.
Oh, why are you doing it to me now? It just froze on me. Great. Is this my computer or is this? So this is an interesting case because the board, what happened is the board of Denver could lose its FAA certification. Well, they also could lose $90 million. So that's the problem is they were threatened. So that's why they wanted to do this so they could say, because it's actually, they can't get the FAA money if they're discriminating against people for working with the federal government.
called the allegations false. The city attorney said they were untrue.
But CBS Colorado has obtained an internal DIA memo that appears to document the very words city leaders later denied ever using. Your investigator, Brian Moss, joining us now.
And Brian, you obtained a memo, and this memo could have major implications.
Well, for months, Denver officials have been insisting that a key allegation in a lawsuit filed against them was false. But an internal memo written just days after a closed-door meeting appears to corroborate key parts of that account, and it raises new questions about whether city leaders were fully transparent with the public. It starts in the skies over Denver International Airport, where a charter service called Key Lime Air sometimes flies. Last year, the company wanted to lease 1,200 square feet of DIA for office and storage space. It seemed routine. DIA regularly leases space to airlines. Some have long-term lease agreements.
I have been following Key Lime Air for the greater part of this year.
But Denver City Council voted overwhelmingly against the lease because Key Lime Air had contracted with federal immigration authorities to transport detainees.
This is a no-brainer for me. We have to push back in any way we can because what is happening is absolutely horrible.
I have no interest in supporting this deportation machine.
I am not going to fund the deportation industrial complex anymore with our city dollars.
That council vote created an immediate problem. Federal Aviation Administration rules prohibit cities from treating airlines differently, and the council's action put $90 million in federal grant money at risk. Multiple sources with direct knowledge say on January 6th of this year, after that council vote, City Attorney Miko Brown had a meeting with DIA and the mayor's office to figure out what to do. In the meeting, DIA Chief Executive Phil Washington, Airport Attorney Everett Martinez, the mayor's interim chief of staff Emily Garnett, and other senior airport and mayor's office officials. We may never have known what was discussed in that meeting, except that Martinez was later put on administrative leave and filed this federal lawsuit in March. According to the lawsuit, the city attorney suggested the airport investigate Key Lime Air's safety record, not because there were real safety concerns, but to create retroactive legal cover for the council vote. Martinez said Brown was asking the airport to fabricate an investigation. He called the proposal likely illegal and unethical.
Our city, like many, have been addressing the needs of newcomers who've been arriving.
When we asked Mayor Mike Johnston's office about the lawsuit in March, his spokesperson called it, quote, horseshit from a disgruntled employee, and said the city attorney didn't say the things listed here. No one called for a fake investigation on Key Lime.
Yeah, no one called for a fake investigation. We called for an actual investigation. See how they do the words? No one called for a fake investigation. No, they were saying run an investigation so we have cover for the shit we already did. That's what was said. See how they lie and twist the words? No one called for a fake investigation. Well, no, you were calling for a real investigation, not a sham investigation. I think the feds are willing to come and get them. Get out of the way. It won't cost you a penny. I hope so. Again, eminent domain is the answer. It aimed to prevent communists from holding office in labor unions and other representative capacities. I hope so. Missouri is proposing to do away with property taxes but raise sales tax so everyone you purchase costs more. I think I smell a rat. Yeah, they'll just bring back the property taxes after they raise the other taxes. The Communist Control Act of 54 has not been fully repealed, but most of the provisions are unenforceable due to later legal rulings and potential partial legislative repeals. Yes. Hey, hope you had a great weekend too, hope you have a great weekend too. Yeah. Hope everybody does. Hope everybody does. Everybody does. Everybody does. Everybody have a great weekend.
The next day, City Attorney Brown sent a memo of her own to her staff saying, quote, the alleged claims are untrue, but we continued asking questions. And last month, CBS Colorado obtained this internal DIA memo written by Martinez just days after that January 6th meeting. It was sent to the vice president of airline affairs who signed off on it, indicating he believed it was an accurate account of what was said by the city attorney. It names all 8 people in the meeting. And it directly quotes City Attorney Miko Brown telling airport officials, you all should investigate Key Lime yourselves. If the FAA comes knocking, I want to be able to have it in my back pocket. that council was also voting because of safety issues, but ran out of time to get to talking about that before voting. Two sources familiar with that memo have verified both its existence and its accuracy. Denver attorney Steven Zansberg specializes in First Amendment issues, which was the basis for the Martinez lawsuit. Zansberg reviewed the memo, the timeline, and the denials by city officials. He says it appears to be a smoking gun into an attempted conspiracy that did not get off the ground.
The city attorney and others in the mayor's administration categorically denied that happened, and that's an outright lie.
Zansberg says that denial is what turns this from a policy dispute into a political liability.
Obviously, political exposure for being caught red-handed in an outright lie.
You think they're caught red-handed?
It certainly appears so from the memo.
The memo goes further. According to the document, DIA lawyer David Steinberger recounts that Brown had emailed him continued questions about investigating Key Lime's safety record after the January 6th meeting and told him to tell the group to continue to consider pursuing safety violation inquiries into Key Lime. And according to the memo, Brown told Steinberger, a bad argument is better than no argument. Zansberg says there are critical questions the Johnston administration still needs to address.
So how high up did it go? Did it go to the mayor? Was the mayor aware? And who else in the mayor's office? And in all of the other offices involved? Who knew and who authorized?
Yeah, who knew what? Who authorized it? I mean, it's funny that this board, the city council or whatever, the county commissions or whatever it was, I think it was the city council of Denver, just said all this stuff on the record that and had nobody, not even like the attorney, or there should have been somebody in there go, whoa, slow down, guys, you can't do this. This is what's going to happen. They did it, and then they're like, oh shit, we already did this. It's all on the record. So now we got to come up with some excuse of why.
Authorized a categorical denial.
The city said they were unaware this internal DIA memo existed until we started asking questions about it. A spokesperson for Mayor Johnston told us the only person who should be speaking on this case is the judge, who reviewed hundreds of pages of documents, sworn witness statements, and listened to 3 hours of oral argument before stating there was no evidence of crime or fraud. And he said there was no fake investigation, and a memo written by the same person who filed the lawsuit does not change that. Beyond that, nobody else who was in that meeting is talking. According to the city, that's because this involves confidential communications. City Attorney Miko Brown is not talking either. And the lawsuit filed by Martinez is still ongoing.
This guy filed the lawsuit because he brought this to the attention and said, hey, we can't do this. This is wrong. And he started making noise about it. And so that's why they fired him, because he wasn't a commie like them and was like, wouldn't go along with their plan to basically stage this so they could, stop, using that airline, not release that airline space. I mean, that's what's ridiculous. That's what's ridiculous.
Now, it's also important to note here again that DIA officials immediately rejected the idea of doing the safety investigation of Key Lime Air. So all of this really went nowhere. But
so it was there. They asked them to do it and they said no. So take the money, take their money. I would cancel their money. That's what I would do. So transgender news, Daughters of the American Revolution to vote on the definition of a woman amid criticism of transgender policy. What? The Daughters of the American Revolution. The daughter currently allows men who identify as women to join, but the group will vote on a resolution to reverse the policy and formally define a woman. Well, of course they should. Who the fuck came up with this? What kind of shit place is this? Daughters of the American Revolution letting men join because they identify as women. Fuck all these people. They'll take a historic vote to define what a woman is on Friday, June 26th, which is today. Daughters all across the country has relentlessly pursued all avenues to succeed to demands. The resolution provided argues that bylaws which state eligibility only applies to women should be interpreted in accordance with the intention of society at the time the bylaw was adopted. There's no question that the founders did not envision men identifying as women as eligible. This is so crazy. The resolution failed tonight, so they are still allowing men into the Daughters of the Revolution. That's insane. There's no end to this madness. Wow. There isn't. Sons of American Revolution will take them. That's just crazy. Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. This is just crazy. Wow. That's nuts. That's just nuts. That is just nuts. Wow. So, anyway, folks, well, FFS, that's right. For fuck's sake, definitely. But we didn't make the goal at all for the second hour. So, unfortunately, that's going to be it for tonight. I'm going to play it by ear for Saturday and Sunday. I'm not sure what's going on. But I probably will stream tomorrow and Sunday. I just haven't decided when. So, right now, I'm going to send everybody over to see Cynic on his channel. And if you want to go over there, I'm going to pop on there. As soon as I pee, I'll pop on and hang out with them for a little bit. Thank you all for coming. Please hit like, subscribe. Make sure you activate the bell and all that jazz, and come back for Jim to tell you the news. Hey!